What's going on, everybody? Yeah. Lookity goof. What up, lookity goof? Got some topics to talk about. I'm going to post a clip of gameplay on Twitter. Again, hopefully we can save this clip. I know when I post this on Twitter, I'm gonna save it to my phone. This will be roughly about the maximum of 2 minutes 19 seconds. It's from Infamous Second Son, but yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's see. Let's hop into Discord. Let's make sure the mic is working. Mic is working. Okay. Testing. Look at my foot. It's as loud as it can be. Okay. Great. Good. That's perfect. Okay. So, I guess we're waiting for other people to get here. I just wanted to let people know, stop listening to Michael Pachter. Okay, I stopped listening to him last gen because he said a lot of crazy shit and he was never right about it. Okay, that's why I'm so reluctant to listen to anybody that tells me they have an insider. Okay, he's been an industry insider for multiple console generations, and as far as I can remember, last generation is when he basically became irrelevant to me as a gamer. His predictions have never came true. Most of the shit you hear that comes from him just sounds batshit crazy. Just stop, okay? So he's putting out there that the Xbox Series X is gonna be $400, but the PS5 is gonna be $800. Okay, why would the console with the least amount of teraflops cost $400 more than the console that has the most teraflops? Why? Why would that even happen? We know Sony would not go anywhere above or close to $600 after their pass with that price point. So why the fuck would he even say that? Like, look, maybe your life is short and you just don't give a fuck about the dumb shit you say. Okay, let me put it that way. But other than that, there's really no real reason for you to put out false information like that that's going to be contradicted in a matter of weeks or months. You know? Like, why would you do that? $800 for the PS5, really? You really think Sony's gonna charge $800 for the PS5? Bro, people need to start holding people like that accountable. If I do one small fuck up, I will never hear the end of it, right? But see, if somebody like Michael Pachter of Status fucks up on his prediction, you guys don't hold people like that accountable. You got to. Other than that, they just gonna say some more wild shit. Okay, prime example. D-Batch was saying that the PS5 was not gonna support RDNA 2. Now we're seeing that the PS5 might have a small elements of RDNA 3, which has been confirmed before I even said it out my mouth today. So again, like, look how stupid D-Batch looks where he said we were going to have like RDNA 1.5 on a PS5. And come to find out we have elements of part 3. You know? So look, man, just don't listen to all the dumb shit you hear. You know? That's why I wait before I talk. You know, it might be a little boring for you guys, but I'd rather give you the proper information than run around as quick as I think I can and give you some outdated misinformation just to make myself look good. And then I have to turn around and correct that shit. Nah. No, I don't want to do that. Let's get the Sunday show started. I'm gonna send out the notifications now. Where are we at? Okay, so there we go. Adam should be here. We had some theories on The Last of Us. I'm gonna be talking about that today. Let's see. There we go.
Hello.
What's going on, Snow Bunny?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Not much. I think we started a little bit early.
No, it's 2 o'clock.
Uh,
Yep, it's 2 o'clock. Let's see here. They've made an announcement of the price.
no. I don't know if you heard of analyst called Michael Pachter. Yeah, he's he's pretty much like a, let's say,
That's the same guy who said the Switch would fail.
yes.
I know him.
Okay, so he's the guy that gets shits wrong all the time. He's the one that said, so he has recently put out two different price predictions. He believes that Xbox can undercut the PS5 and charge only $400 for the Series X, and then he believes that the PS5 will be $800.
Hmm.
So,
Won't know until they announce the price, which is getting kind of weird because usually.
well, we're gonna get it in June. June is the month of E3. It's the midway point. From June, you have November. So you after June, what you got about 4 more months, 5 more months, until the systems are supposed to release. Um, I'm hoping that this month we get a confirmation that there's some sort of event in June that we could start focusing on or waiting for. Um, but I do hope I'm hoping that Xbox reveals their price first, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. Because they've been ahead of PlayStation when it comes to next gen, this whole gen right now, and they seem to be a little scared to talk about anything. Again, they're so far ahead of PlayStation when it comes to unveiling their new system. They showed what the controller looks like before PlayStation. They showed what the console looks like before PlayStation. Talked about the specs before PlayStation. Um, they even showed some gameplay this past Thursday that we're gonna talk about. They did a lot. Um, but it's and they're so far ahead, but it seems like they still are afraid to talk about the price. So even though PlayStation's lagging behind because they still have games to release, they still want PlayStation to pull ahead of them in such a way that they will give out the price before they do, which is weird because I don't see that happening. Um, but that's what Microsoft doesn't want. But Microsoft did want to be first. If you're first, you got to reveal that price.
Hmm.
We should be getting something in June. I don't think there is there any more games coming out in
For
May,
what?
in the month of May.
For what system?
Any system, because I picked
Uh,
up that indie game called
Switch
Super
has
Mash.
Switch has Xenoblade Definitive Edition, and then the ports. Well, the other ports of XCOM, Borderlands. There's also XCOM, Borderlands, Bioshock, Adam Ventures coming out. That's all that I know of off the top of my head from Switch.
Mm.
Let me look here. And then there's some indie stuff that's coming out that's going just straight to the eShop.
I think I
Um,
picked up all the games that I wanted. I still have games in the backlog, but Final Fantasy, what is it, Doom Eternal, shit like that. Trails of Mana, I did pick that up day one. Streets of Rage 4. So I picked up everything, and then we got that port called Super Mash. I picked that up on Friday. So again, like any and everything I've picked up that I wanted to get, new, old ports, anything. So from what I noticed, I don't see any other game coming out. I haven't heard of any other game. The Resident Evil game has already came out. I don't see any other sports games coming out until the end of the year. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
everything's out. Pretty
it's
empty
just a
month.
bunch of indies also coming out in May for Switch, but that's common.
What's going on uncompetitive? How you doing, man?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? And how is Snow Bunny? And it's Priscilla.
Yeah, you heard Press. She up
Yeah.
here want to be known
Fucking
again.
cats.
Like I said, my other cat, she's
God
silent.
damn it.
She won't even come near me when I'm on stream. But this one here wants to be known by the entire world. We're doing good.
I heard
Now,
that.
the Switch does have something coming out that I pre-purchased, which is it looks extremely interesting, and they classify it as an interactive movie. So I'm going to see what that's about.
What's the name of it?
It's called She Sees Red. It's like live action. It looks like a movie. You're playing a killer in a nightclub, and you have to make choices throughout the game to try to get one of four possible endings. But it's all live action.
Hmm.
And they call it an interact. It says when you look at it, it says interactive movie. She sees red.
Hmm. Sounds interesting. Um. Yeah. I mean, our pre-order. I think I talked about this last weekend. Pre-order list on the PS4. It's not being updated anymore. It only has Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Wasteland 3, and Cyberpunk. That's it. Even if there's new games that are coming out, like a Super Mash, uh, I don't know. They just didn't put them. They weren't available for pre-order. So, um, I told Sam this before. It just seems like they're ready. They're really ready for next gen. Like you can obviously see they're slowing down. Uh, they're ready for the PS5. It's just obviously they want their last two games to do very well. They put a lot of money into those games. But once those games are out, I think the full force of the promotion of the PS5 will be in effect. So that will be anywhere between after The Last of Us comes out and between Ghost of Tsushima's launch. We're gonna hear more. Those are also games that I do want to hear a confirmation that they will be enhanced for the PS5 because they'll be our latest games. I know that the first 100 games, um, majority of those games, I would want to be their biggest exclusives as a selling point, including games like Bloodborne that didn't get a PS4 Pro update. I'm hoping that they can be enhanced some way on the PS5. Um, yeah, can't wait for that. Um,
Right now, Nintendo's just quiet because of this whole work from home thing. They they're right now everything's up in the air. We had the financials report come out on the 7th, and they're basically for the next fiscal year, they're keeping everything low because they know with the COVID-19, the virus is shutting down everything, that they won't be able to produce as much. So they haven't set super high standards for the next fiscal year.
Well, I mean, Animal
So
Crossing is still a juggernaut. So, um,
yeah, so they've set, like they predicted they were only going to sell like 19 million switches last year, and they sold over that amount.
mm-hmm.
So everything they had set, they basically kept it almost the same because of they're like right now things are slowed down because of everything, and it's affecting them in the first half of the fiscal year. So they are keeping everything relatively low, but right now they haven't, like, literally to their financials, to when they talk to the investors, they haven't really announced too much going on. But we figure it's because of the work at home thing, like we were talking about last week with Nintendo, how they protect everything. They don't really like doing things where their systems might get leaked or whatever, so they leave them in the offices and things like that. So the work at home is slowing them down. That's what's slowing them down right now. Like we're
Were
not
there any
getting.
games that were close to completion from Nintendo, like
They
Metroid
don't.
or anything like that?
They didn't announce anything. Usually, I notice a trend with Nintendo. They won't announce something till it's about a year to a year and a half out to ready to be released. So they haven't announced anything, and then everything, like right when they would start announcing everything, everything slowed down. Like we're not even getting anything in June. They have announced that they are not doing a direct in June.
Yeah, I heard about that. Um, I mean, look,
Uh,
they could survive on those remasters Mario games that they're still bringing out. They could survive the remainder of the year.
they
Um,
haven't even confirmed that.
what they confirmed that they were making Mario remasters from last
But they
generation.
didn't. But they didn't confirm that they were coming out this year. They have not made any mention of them coming out this year.
Oh, well, that sucks.
We were speculating they were because this is Mario's 35th anniversary, but they haven't confirmed anything yet. Everything is slowed down with them.
Well, they'd be all right.
Hmm.
Nintendo will be all right whether they have games or not. They should be able to do what they need. I don't think it's wise for them to do the Nintendo Pro or any of that shit. I don't want them to reveal any of that this year because you don't want to give anybody the wrong idea that you want to be competitive with the other two when you're not on that level or you're not planning to have a console on that level. So,
They
they
already
should do
said
exactly what they did with the Switch. I think it was 2017 when the Switch came out. The other two systems have been out since 2013, so about 4 years. If you gotta do something different, like with the Switch, a hybrid handheld console, you need to make sure you reveal that far away from the competition.
well, they already said they weren't doing a system this year. They already announced that back in January. They said that they were not releasing another system this year. So that was already in the works and plans. They were not going to announce another system.
So what do you think their plan's gonna be going
Right
forward?
now, right now, I think they're just going to ride the tide for a little bit longer. I'm thinking maybe 2021, 2022 they're going to announce a updated Switch. But I don't think it's not going to be anytime near the other two systems. It's not.
Hello.
They're staying the hell away from
Lady.
What's
that
going on,
area.
Fatal?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Olivia.
So yeah, so right now I think they're, because like I said, they announced in January they were not going to release a system this year. So I'm thinking maybe 2021, 2022 sometime.
Why? Why they get to wait so damn long?
Theirs just
Who
came out
cares?
in 2017.
So did the Xbox One X?
Yeah, and they are coming out. No, the One X. Yeah, the One X, but that was classified as a mid-gen upgrade.
It's only a 3-year difference. Sony's
They
came out.
classified it as a mid-gen upgrade. And then if I would to be honest with you, I'd be really pissed with Xbox if they just released the X in 2017 and they coming out with a new system now.
Hmm. Imagine how you feel to foolishly buy into that shit and actually get one.
I mean, hey, what can I say?
I think they should bring it out next year. Think about it. Why? Because we know the Switch would be a more powerful Switch, but the price will be low still. And at that time, you're gonna have these consoles come out next year. It's gonna go down in price, probably like $50 the most. So that would be a good way to like sell the new Switch against it, because everybody's at a lower price. That's
Yeah,
more
that's the
competition.
reason I said 2021, 2022.
Mhm.
That would be next year or so.
See, because I don't notice that they don't speak of the 3DS anymore. So
Oh,
like,
they've stopped manufacture of it.
no, I'm saying they don't talk about it anymore. Like since the Switch Lite came out, like they don't speak on it anymore. I know they stopped manufacturing, but they still used to talk about like patches and all of that shit. They don't even talk about it no more. Like Sony, the Vita, like it's like not their focus no more. So I noticed they all in on Switch and they finally found the hybrid. So I think that since they're going in that route and they know how much it takes to run the Switch, they should have came out with a Switch Pro already. Look, remember that rumor that AMD, like in their little testings, they had 3 systems they were testing,
Mm-hmm.
but we only saw 2 get actual benchmarks with the PS5 and the Series X. The other one never got specs revealed yet.
You
So
Yeah,
think
but
that
see,
other
the
one
thing
might be
is
Lockhart?
no, cause wait, you mean Lockhart like the
The
Xbox
S,
Series?
the
That's
cheaper version they're supposed to be bringing out.
no, cause the code specifically for that was a Nintendo product. That's basically how Nintendo names their product. It started with an NV, so NVM. Usually Nintendo will start with that. So it may
yeah,
not.
but the thing is if they, I can agree with you where if they were doing benchmarks and things, but in the beginning of the year, Nintendo saw what was going on with their production and the virus. They started getting hit before all the other companies. Why
Yeah,
release? Why release a new item when they see what's going on? Where like China started shutting down. They already knew they weren't going to have production.
Mhm.
So why announce it and then disappoint fans and get fans angry at them, saying, "Hey, we're not going to release it this year because we can't get manufacturer, we can't get production." I wouldn't announce nothing right now, right before this whole shit went down. My company was talking about doing price increases on shit. Now they're not even talking about that anymore because
Um,
they know if they do price increases, we're going to lose business
right.
because
So
nobody will be able to afford it.
you see what you just said, though. You wouldn't have talked about nothing. I think that's what Sony did because they knew that shit was coming. They knew parts, so they didn't want to talk about the PS5 until time. But Microsoft really jumped ahead and just said the Series X is coming and everything. I think that was a tactic that they should have never done because now, like, since the Xbox One X is out, people are expecting PlayStation. They're not going to talk about it until it's ready. And I think,
And that's the thing. Microsoft right now with announcing everything and bringing everything out the way they are. I don't
mhm,
know if you noticed this or not, but they're making it so they're forcing Sony's hand.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we forcing them to talk about it, but I get the tactic it is, which you seem like the good guy, so they could say all of your stuff. You going first, and then like, oh look, we're saying it, and they're not talking. I get what they're trying to do, but the thing is, when they do talk, bro, it's gonna backfire on you. So I
Hmm.
want. I remember Big Money was saying on Next Gen in the podcast he wanted Sony to talk, and they did, and they remember they was the talk of the town every single time. anything with Xbox Series X come up, people are like, okay, but PlayStation like is never gonna go away. So yeah, I think Nintendo and Sony are smart for that, and I think Microsoft should have waited as well, even though they needed to like get a little jump on Sony because Sony went first last year. I think they should have waited because now, right now, they've revealed how it looks and everything. Now people, the third party shit backfired, so now they have to wait till July for first party. Then you have to wait for a price. Then you have to wait for the console to come out. So, and then you got to wait 2 to 3 years to get the real showcases because consoles need time. Developers to really learn the system. So like everybody has to wait. So I think Microsoft should have waited too. Like took it easy, but hey, they did what they did.
But hey, you know what?
No matter which way they look at it, they're fucked either way.
I think when Sony came out, and remember that show they did was really to talk to developers, and we as fans really didn't even want to. I don't even know why they pushed that and went and let the fans see that, because that is not what we wanted. We wanted a showcase of what the system can do.
No money.
And I think that was a bad call for Sony. Come out. I still want them to say something, but when they did come out and say something, wasn't what we wanted.
No, y'all wanted to know the specs of the system, and you got that. That's what really people wanted to know. The rumors, remember, because the rumors was if it's more powerful, the 13.3, the 11.6, the 9.2, 14.
Yeah, but did they have to do that show to do that?
Yeah.
They could have did something quick. They could have did something quick. That's why I say
they could have.
That was specifically for the developers, and they should have kept it for the developers. I don't think they should have let the fans. They could have gave us anything. We're waiting. I think that 2014 reveal was so good to us. Just thought that when they do come out and talk about PS5, we thought that was going to be the same thing. And I think we fell in love with that 2014 reveal, and we wanted something else like that. I'm saying I really don't think Sony should have did what they did. They showed off whatever they was doing, because first of all, majority of us don't know what a teraflop is. The only thing we know is that 12 was higher than 9. 12 was higher than 10, and the only thing as we can argue about. It was a bad call Sony made. They should have kept it to the developers, and when they get ready to explain to us, because we want to see gameplay. I'm tired of all this other stuff. We want to see gameplay.
All that cinematic shit.
Look like. Yeah, that cinematic shit need to go. You know what pissed me off, guys, the other day? And yeah, J-Tech, I'm sorry, man, about missing that, but I went over and seen what they did with that Xbox. Nothing they did blow me away. And this goes for Sony too. If them are next gen graphics, I'm not too impressed. I'm really not too impressed.
The developers are tackling that, dude.
That's the sad
priority.
The Last of Us looked better, and it was just the day before. And that was just a trailer. That was legit, like a trailer that wasn't.
Or you could talk about Ghost of Tsushima, which looks better.
Ghost of Tsushima has actual action when you do the sword fight, and you can see the leaves, the interaction, and everything. That's gameplay. We've seen The Last of Us gameplay in 2018, and we saw it 2019 last year. When they discussed the enemies, the AI interactions, how you gotta
go
the
through
dog,
the grass, all of that shit that we
hunting.
saw in the suburban area. Going in and out of houses, beautiful lighting. That right there is better. That is what gameplay is all about. You're watching someone play through a section of the game. That's what gameplay means to us. This old, outdated definition of gameplay that the companies like Microsoft are using, don't treat us like idiots. Okay, we watch gameplay all the time. in our community. So why would you give us what you still say is gameplay? That's not gameplay to us. We're not watching somebody go through a mission. That's not gameplay. So I want to understand why they thought that was a good idea. Just like what Big Money said, that Sony didn't need to show us that that live stream where Mark Cerny was breaking down the specs, right? Agree. I agree. I don't think Microsoft needed to show us anything in May. Hey, you don't have no games in May? Oh, that's your fault, though. I don't give a fuck. Don't show us that either, because it's not only you got a bad reputation again, right? You were in the good. Xbox was in a very good, lead right now going into next gen. They really were. They showed off the system, showed off the controller. We knew what the specs were before the PS5 specs. Like, they were good. But you painting next gen in a horrible light when you said that was Xbox Series X gameplay.
I think
you
that's
make
what Sony
next
waited.
gen look weak.
That's what Sony waited, bro. I really
Exactly.
believe it.
And let's be honest. Sony did wait and still are waiting. The only thing we saw from next gen was Godfall, and probably like 2 other smaller games that are from PC generated indie devs. It was one of these space thrillers and another game with a fireman, some shit like that. I don't know, but the big game that we did see for PS5 will be Godfall, but still, that developer said they were holding off after, what was it, PAX East. Then they said they were going to do something with PlayStation, then they didn't do it. I like that they haven't shown anything else because they are so close to PlayStation with this development. And I cannot wait to see more of that game and anything else. So, this is what's going on.
That Medium game catches my eye, though.
It catches my eye, but again, they showed cinematics that I knew was cinematics, but I was hoping was gameplay, and we did catch the gameplay, and the gameplay didn't look shit like the cinematics. So
they need to stop doing that shit, because it pissed a lot of people off. I don't know what they think the definition of gameplay is, but they know damn well there wasn't gameplay, and they know that's not what we wanted to see. All this in-engine shit. We want to see somebody actually playing the game, not that cinematic shit. They do that shit all the time. Gameplay. They know damn well that wasn't gameplay. That's why everybody is pissed off, because they keep saying that bullshit. That's not true, man. That's not gameplay.
Hey, bro, that's what I'm saying. And look, I think Sony understands that way more than Microsoft. And I've been saying that for multiple E3s now. Because Microsoft still shows cinematic at their E3 events. Like, we're not going to have an E3 this year, but we don't know what they're going to show. But as of last week, it's true that they just keep showing gameplay. That's cinematics. And they think it's funny, and they think they can mislead people, but I don't know, man. I think it's really disrespectful to think gamers are stupid. We're not stupid. We know what gameplay is. We know what it is.
Well,
we know it's somebody playing through a mission of the game.
Fucking gamers out there.
Huh?
There's a lot of stupid gamers.
It is a lot of stupid gamers out there. I don't like to call them gamers, but there's a lot of stupid people that like video games out there.
But here's the thing also. Because of this shit's been going on, not just this gen, but it's been going on for a while. That's one reason why I go into every I don't care whose presentation is, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, Sony, Indie Direct, or anything. I always go in with a 50% lower aspect than what I think it should be. Every one of them, because they might say it's gameplay, but it end up being a trailer, or it might end up being a game played on. It's for the system, but it might be a development build where it's on the PC. I just automatically always temper my expectations of what I'm going to see when I go into these events.
Yo, people believe this Xbox Series X being $399.
Yeah, that's Michael Pachter, by the way. His dumb ass.
No, but like, people really talk about if Sony was suffering, that it would be worth it. I'm like, No, it won't, because then you have an Xbox that doesn't have hit games like PlayStation. That's going to be pushed more, so you're going to see a lack of games. Well, okay, I'll let people that shit. Go ahead. And then when it's not, watch them get upset.
Watch you get upset.
They gotta understand that there's a high possibility a lot of games might not be ready or fully completed.
Oh, dude, there's going to be a lot of games that are not ready to go for launch. Dude.
None of them ready.
Like they give you a portion of
Fable
the
ain't coming out for at least a couple more years, at least.
Yeah, but I think there's gonna be some games dropped on the Series X that are gonna be kind of like Destiny. You know, like they completed the game over time with DLC.
Like Halo Infinite?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But the game is called Halo.
Booyah.
Like, people didn't pick up on that?
It's called what?
Halo
Infinite for a reason.
Infinite means it doesn't stop, bro. Halo 5 is still getting support to this day, so you think Halo Infinite...
Well, in the Halo world, it's the ring planet that you're on.
Like, literally, Halo 5 has a Warzone mode. Call of Duty has a Warzone mode. You think they're going to stop in Halo Infinite? They're going to bring back all the shit from Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and put them all in Halo Infinite. Just like Activision just did with Black Ops 4, I think, whatever it was. They got Reznov in a minute.
Halo Infinite Master Queep Collection. There you go.
I'm telling you, I watched it. They're going to do it. Because, one, they say Halo is forever, right? That's what Microsoft said at E3 2019. Even though they didn't show Halo, they was like, Halo is always in our hearts forever. When they just before they showed Gears 5, they said Halo is in our hearts forever. So right there, forever. Once you heard that, I knew it was going to be a games as a service game.
Yeah, well, look, it might work for their fan base. It might. We don't know yet, but it might. They might accept it because it's Halo. But all I'm gonna say is, Gears was larger than life, very similar to Halo. It was not accepted by the people. Part 5. So it doesn't matter how good your game is; it could fail, or it could revive itself. I remember God of War was kind of like that. Like, people, I got the feel last gen that people were getting a little tired of God of War. And God of War did take a pretty lengthy break. Came back as God of War 2018. The last God of War game that I played before 2018 was God of War Ascension. And the only thing I liked about that was the multiplayer. I didn't like the single player. The story sucked. It was the only God of War game I never completed the single player. I even completed the single player, obviously the story for the handheld versions.
Right back.
Yeah.
Bro, we did the same shit. I didn't complete that multiplayer, bro, until... I didn't finish the single player until God of War 3 Remastered came out on PS4. That's when I went back to it, and I finished the single player. That game was trash.
Did you like it?
No. Okay, I was thinking it was a way to kind of like spin it to be like, it's not bad, but like it was.
I don't know who made the story, but I don't think it was the same person that made the other stories.
It's like the ending of Red Dead Redemption. That kind of.
They tried to change it.
Yeah, but that's okay. You see a game like, what's a game that people say suck really? You see a game like No Man's Sky, Knack, Killzone Shadowfall. All those games would be better than God of War Ascension.
Damn, it's illegal.
And this is me, who y'all say is a pony, and I can say that. All of those are better games.
Oh, bro, look. I know, bro. Like I said, I tried multiple times to complete that story, and I just couldn't get into it. Like, all the other God of War games, I could not drop the story. I ran through all the God of War games because the story was so good. I always wanted to know what was going to happen next. But for this God of War, it was not what I wanted. I don't know who made the story. I'm pretty sure they've been fired already, but it was not a good story, man. It's kind of like the single player was tacked on to the multiplayer.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but neither here nor there. I think, and I think Sony waiting because Sony legit probably has games for PS5. But remember, usually the biggest thing with Sony, the concern with Sony with PS5 was backwards compatibility, right?
Yeah.
So if Sony was like to discuss PS5 games, they already said you could do crossplay for PS5, PS4, so you know you're gonna be able to play together. If they did that, people will want to know about backwards compatibility more often. That's why I don't think Sony spoke on it because they was like, "Oh, is there going to be a PS5 games, PS5 version where we have to replay, repay for it like we did The Last of Us, blah 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 blah." That's what you got to think about as a like somebody who knows business wise, like me. So I overthink things. So that's what Sony's thinking of like right now. So that's why they don't talk because they have games, but they still have PS4 games that they have to talk about. So when you take a Yashan off PS4 and you know those games are going to be on PS5, people will wait. Literally, you may want to get all the sales you want, but people will wait for PS5 versions. And then when your shit comes out, then you'll just see like, okay, you got this many sales on PS4, but the adoption rate to PS5 is small, and we ain't got that many sales to brag about. So I think that's why Sony is waiting because they have a truly next gen game, but they're waiting until after Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2 comes out. But we are going to see the console in June, I think, and the next gen game because Horizon Zero Dawn I see got a little info for vegetation to make real life graphics. So I think you'll have Horizon Zero Dawn shown to come out next year. Gran Turismo will get a port. The Last of Us is going to get a port. Ghost of Tsushima, I believe Bloodborne will get one. I think they're going to focus more on backwards compatibility, Sony and Microsoft, to like show what their consoles could do SSD wise. Because the Pro and the X really doesn't give groundbreaking.
I can't wait to see Sony spank the shit out of their fucking with their SSD, man.
Oh no, Sony's gonna validate when they really get on the ball to like full on about PS5. That's gonna be the dangerous part. You see what happened when Sony first introduced PS4? There were still games coming out for PS3. You had Gran Turismo, you had The Last of Us, and you had something else, bro. Like
I think
something
it was MLB The Show.
that and something else. I think it's Sony Santa Monica related. But yeah, that's when the rumors of there was gonna be a new God of War coming, and then that was scrapped and all of that bullshit. You would have had the Order as a launch title for the PS4. Keep that in mind. That would have been nice. But yeah, when Sony full on started to talk about the PS4 after The Last of Us first came out, and in June they revealed the console. Then Gran Turismo came out, Gran Turismo 6 for PS3. Their whole focus was on PS4. There was no more talks about PS3. Not even when the end of the year when the PS3 sold like 2 extra more million when GTA 5 came out that year. Sony didn't talk about that shit. It was only PS4. I'm telling people when those games pass by, The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, you will see Sony talk about PS5 to the ultimate, to the point you'll get sick of it. So don't rush. Just wait. Like we have
See,
to.
I'm hearing what you said, man, but remember what I was saying a couple of minutes ago. I think a lot of Sony fans fell in love with that February reveal. You know what I'm saying? That
the PS4?
13, yeah, the PS4. They fell in love with that. And this is just me personally.
Right.
When you coming out with a product like that, when you coming out with a brand new product like that, when you really start promoting that like 2-3 months at a time, I just think that's lost time. I really do. I just haven't seen too many companies where if they have a big product come out and they only do advertisement for a month and a half or 2 months. Something like that need at least 6 months. Everything was fine the way but like I said, things are changing and it's a new regime in there, and maybe they think that needed to do it a new way. But the way they did the PS4, that we have to admit, besides the PlayStation 2, the PS4, it did everything right as far as advertising, as far as games. Whole generation has been a 10 to 10 for Sony. So when you have something like that going so good for you, and then you throw a monkey wrench into it by doing something totally different, I think it messes with your image just a little. Not too much where it will hurt Sony. I think it
I
would
agree.
let.
I look. I 100% agree that they're not doing the same thing that gamers wanted, and gamers like what they did last time, and they didn't do it this time. That's obvious that we're not gonna like that we didn't. It wasn't as predictable. Some people like predictable, other people don't. Um, I do believe that we could not expect them to do the same thing though. You know, because this is Sony. And again, this is a little bit different than last gen.
Wait a
Last
minute.
gen, you only had Last of Us coming out right next to the new generation. This time you have Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. And not only that, those games wouldn't have gotten pushed back this far if it wasn't for the coronavirus. So there are many differences. Again, PlayStation had an event for the PS4 where people were in seats and they went to a venue. They couldn't do it this time because of the travel restrictions because of the coronavirus. A lot of things got messed up. They're trying to figure out how do they do this in this new normal. And I know whatever they do, however they want to reveal this shit, these guys are kings when it comes to messaging. That's what Sony is. What Microsoft is, they have their fans. Their fans can hype something up that's just garbage. And we know this. It's not Microsoft doing it. It has never been Microsoft hyping up anything. It has been the excitement of the fans that made Halo so fucking good. Seeing those lines wrapped around buildings every fucking launch in New York City. That's what made Halo what it was. So I think, as you can see what happened this past Thursday, we know there was a ton of Xbox fans hyping up this event. They all now try to say they didn't hype the event up, but they did hype the event up. You know? Microsoft put out a fucking a message. Say, hey, this is when we're going to have our next event. Every Xbox fan within 85 miles hype that shit up. And then we all watched it together with those same Xbox fans, and we saw this shit was garbage. And again, what we do understand is if this is any indication of the games we're going to be getting on next-gen systems, I can speak for myself. I will not be paying for any of these games. That's not what next-gen is to me.
I have a question for y'all.
Really?
Big money.
Oh, you can ask me that 8 times, and you will not see $1 coming out of my bank account to pay for any of the games we just saw.
Got a point.
I mean, except for those 3 that are going to PlayStation, like what is it, Scarlet Nexus and that top-down twin shooter, and there's like one other game. But
You know what? I did
that
like
vampire
that
shit,
first
bro.
game.
I don't know who asked for that shit. I know there's a few people that was like a big fan of the first one, but nah, bro. That needs to look better.
I
That
like the
dancing
first.
anybody saw the dancing vampire game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Blend. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bloodlines too.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna call it the dancing vampire.
Yeah, but that's also
a better
coming
name.
current Gen 2 as well, man.
I don't
I mean,
care.
the
That
thing
was
about
not a good
Vampire
showing.
is Vampire
No,
is a
I
very
agree,
niche
but
game.
yeah,
I
I
would
was
have
gonna
been
say
getting it
very
if it was
niche.
not first person, but it's not even making its way to the Switch, but it's first person. But that's something that's pulling on heartstrings of people who love the paper RPG.
Yep,
The what?
There was
paper RPG.
there's a paper RPG, like you know how there's D&D.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the White Wolf line, which is Vampire the Masquerade, Vampire the Requiem, the Mage, Werewolf. That's a tabletop RPG.
Okay.
So that game, the Vampire the Masquerade video game, tends to pull the heartstrings of people who love to play Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop RPG.
Is it connected?
Only in theme. That's it.
Oh. Oh.
That you know what that first game, Brightburn. I would is that I'm trying to think because Brightburn is out already on PC, ain't it, Fatal? Ain't that game out on PC
You talking
already?
about that first person shooter game?
Yeah, I think it's called Brightburn.
Nah,
or-
man, that is not what it's
One
called.
person.
That's not what it's called.
It's called Bright Memory.
Bright Memory. This dude
Oh.
said Bright Burn. That's the name of the damn movie. God damn, bro.
Bright Memory Infinite or Infinite.
You are off by 85 words, man. Nah, but yeah, Bright Memory has been in development for PC for a number of years now. I had just watched the trailer a couple weeks before we saw the Inside Xbox. So it's being made by one person. It's been in early access for Steam for a while, and it's weird that was the first shit you showed. Cause again, there was PlayStation people watching that already knew of that game. There were PC people watching. And as amazing as that game did look, it wasn't new. That's another thing that a lot of people were thinking about. People were going into this Inside
New to
Xbox
consoles.
hoping to see something new that we did not already see before.
And and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was already shown also.
Yep. Several times.
Scorn came out in 2017 on PC.
It sure did.
And they were trying to brag about it like it was a brand new IP. Like the way that they showed that little trailer. Huh? What happened, Fatal?
No, I said it is to consoles, but I'm kidding.
Yeah, it is. But again, when people start doing research, they gonna find out how old that game is. They're like, why were you just hyping that shit up? Like, it's that new. Like, it's 3 years old. 2017, man. Like, that shit's old. It's older than your hairline. You know?
Let's be honest.
Valhalla. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to be honest, let's look at every Xbox thing that they've ever announced. Like, I'd be watching the E3 when they're saying games coming to Xbox, and I'm like, okay, that game was showed last E3 on Nintendo's showcase. Or indies. That's something that's common with Xbox.
Yeah, they've been stacking up their indies.
And that's pretty much basically every game that we saw during that event there that transpired back on Thursday or wherever the fuck day it was.
Yeah.
We're all indies. All indie days.
Well, they already anticipated it was going to be
except
third
for
party.
Bandai Namco.
Said it was.
Yeah,
But,
they told us that they were going to be third party.
Yes, Jay?
What you say? You was trying to say something?
I was saying, and then the excuse would be like, oh, Microsoft are taking games from PC, they're taking games from PlayStation. That's why they do it, because like J-Tech said, Microsoft doesn't advertise, they fans do it. So when Microsoft do things like that, they fanboys go on rant saying, Xbox is getting this brand new game, and just because it's on PC is not a console, so it's new to consoles. PlayStation is not getting it. So when that happens, just ignore them, because at this point, Microsoft shows a lot of old games that you know is on PC already. And just because it's on an Xbox and Microsoft has a footnote in PC, they think it's groundbreaking, like when PUBG came to Xbox.
I remember.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Basically, remember when you first saw XCOM on the console? They made that such a big deal because it was on the Xbox console first. The Witcher was on there first, so a lot of the things that comes to Xbox from PC, they make a big deal.
And I'm fucking fine with that, sir.
No, you shouldn't be that. That makes it more lazy to pass when
Hey, man.
are getting
I don't have to worry about building a rig. I'm good.
I was talking about Sony doing remasters and all of that and not focusing on games, but here Microsoft brings new games to their console that's old on another platform and calls them.
Hey, man.
So I just want to know how is that fair because it does it Nintendo too. Like that's not cool to be fine with laziness because the more laziness you get, the less games you get. So you shouldn't be fine with that. And for Sony too, that gets like when Civilization when I was PlayStation, I was happy because that was a PC game to be on a PlayStation. It's weird, but like me and Fedor said, how much you want to bet they're not going to buy it on a console? Remember we had that
I
conversation
did not
later?
buy that shit.
We have had that conversation several times. Yes, sir, we have.
And what happened?
The same's gonna happen with Gears Tactics, man. When Gears Tactics fucking gets this goddamn console port,
Funny,
no one's gonna play that shit. Outside of what Game Pass, and that's it.
Fatal's gonna play it.
No one's gonna buy it.
No, me and Fedor have these conversations. People be like, oh, just hating sometimes because sometimes we just tell her how it is. And we said, I think about 4 months ago, 5 months ago last year, that when Gears Tactics comes to console, it's going to flop, but it would do wonders on like Nintendo Switch because it's on. So yeah, I get it, but I just don't think that's right for them to go out the old games and just say them as new because they're not on PlayStation. I think that's false advertising.
Yeah, exactly. And let me
Eventually,
be
those
honest,
games go over to
I
fucking
think
PlayStation.
it was yesterday on the PlayStation Legion podcast where I think we looked at about 12 minutes of scoring gameplay. And I was excited because of the art style and, everything. But after I watched it for about 10 minutes, I got really, really bored with the game. It was like, I don't know what this game was. And I changed my opinion from wanting to buy the game to not wanting to buy the game.
It looks like it's like heavily inspired by that. What's that guy's name there? The one that did all the alien stuff? H.R. Geiger, I think his name is.
Yes, it does.
That's what, I got that because at first that's what I thought I was looking at. I thought I was looking at something
it's like
aliens related.
It's mixed with him and Doom, but with not a lot of people coming at you. It's more like a puzzle game to a degree. You're shooting monsters, but they're small creatures. Very small
Is it
creatures.
first person or third person?
First person.
Okay.
What up, y'all?
That's off her list.
What's going on?
Hey, quick question. Spartan, can you do something with your mic? Because every time everybody's talking, you're getting bad feedback on your end, bro.
I am.
Yeah, I know. I was hearing that it was crazy. Hey, is that Bidger? I don't know how to say that. Hey, Bidger, I think you're on to something. Because I've been saying the same thing. We're not, as graphics go, we're not going to see anything that's going to wow us from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. Because I think we hit that peak as far as the graphics go. I think the next time we see something that I'm talking about lifelike, when video games damn near lifelike, not going to be for another maybe PlayStation 8, PlayStation 9, because the devs then went high as they can go. You know what I'm saying? I really like what you said. I think they did reach the tone with graphics. They can't go any higher. It's not a wow factor, and that's going to go for all consoles. It's no wow factor like it was from the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. But it could be a game or some devs out there that will get something, because at this point, I think as far as people like me, because I'm a graphics whore, I think the next thing we're looking for is something that's actual lifelike. That's the only thing that will impress me right now, as far as graphics.
To rebuttal what you just said, Big Money, I think The Last of Us Part 2 is going to address that to us as consumers. And I get what you're saying. I mean, there's graphic horrors out there, but at the end of the day, graphics don't make the game. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, if the game's dog shit, or if it's a turd, and you put a tuxedo on that turd, guess what it is? It's still a fucking turd. You see what I'm saying? So just because
it's
the
a
game,
fancy turd, but yeah.
So,
I get it.
so if the game has the graphic fidelity of lifelike, but the mechanics and the playability and everything else is dog shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that game is not going to do well. Now, I get what you're saying, but
They kicked him out.
It's all about frame rates for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Frame rates and then also new IPs. Because again, like you guys were saying, stating earlier, because I've been listening to the podcast. I was out grocery shopping and stuff, getting food for our daughter. But nah, man, you got to invest into yourself. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation has done it for many years, and I understand why everybody has the anticipation of wanting to hear from Sony. But at the end of the day, man, Sony has already embedded their legacy to its consumers for 20 plus years. You see what I'm saying? So yes, they need to say something, but at the same time, if you're already heavily invested into that platform and that studio, it's just the waiting game. And I think who was that talking earlier? I think it was Spartan God. Somebody was talking earlier up on Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. Those two heavy hitters are basically going to come out swinging and letting everybody know what the future holds with the brand of PlayStation. So I think once those two games are out, I mean, again, whoever said it was definitely spot on upon the fact of that's when you're going to start hearing stuff about PS5 more than you really want to hear it. So.
We gotta get a flood of information once that shit happens. But
at the end of the day, people.
Yeah, it does. And look, all I'm gonna say right now, I'm excited to see what I'm excited to see what Xbox is gonna show us. But it's very telling that they started off weak when they didn't have to, unless they really thought this was going to be a good show. But they must have thought it was going to be a good show because they fucking aired it. I would have never aired something like this.
Well, if your anticipations are high upon any show, you got to go in any show half glass full. I mean, if you look back upon
especially for Xbox.
Well, yeah, definitely, especially for Xbox. But even remember, what was it, Watch Dogs? Remember when they first showed that? Man, that game, everybody was like, oh, shit, man, that thing looks, you know what I'm saying? It was mind-blowing at the time. But when we finally got the final product, I mean, come on, man.
They were Division 1 as well.
Yeah, Division 1.
Yeah, Division 1, yeah, same thing too, yeah.
And it was fucking Ubisoft.
So even with PlayStation, man, go into these events half glass full, man. Don't get your hopes up in anticipation. Once you see it, that's when you get anticipated. That's when you get all hyped up. Not just because, PlayStation's going to do a reveal. Okay, cool. PlayStation, man, you know how many concepts I've seen of consoles and all this other leak? Man, me and Jay's had conversation, bro. It's like, okay, we know about it, but again, you don't see Jay posting, all this shit on his podcast or his Twitter or anything like that. So again, it's to the intuition that you have of you being a quote unquote gamer. You should already know these things, man.
Exactly.
If you've been gaming long enough, you should already know what's false and what's true. Point blank. Period.
Guys, we are now 39 days away from the next PlayStation exclusive. Again, very telling. Sometime this month, we probably get the confirmation of the specific day of the PS5 reveal or whatever they want to call it. It is important. It's an important step for gaming, but I feel that Microsoft should not have tried to drop the ball before PlayStation shows off the PS5, because now whatever PlayStation does looks better than whatever Microsoft had done. You know? And that's
Microsoft doesn't care.
Microsoft needs to care, because they acted like they cared. If you didn't care, why would you race to show off your system before your competitor?
Jay, you want to know why? Because they have to, bro. Because this generation for them was horrible. It was fucking horrible. Me and Adam both had an Xbox experience with Gears 5. We've had conversations about it. And like I stated before, and Adam even co-signs, it's pitiful and sad it took them this long to push out a game of that caliber. Even though it didn't do well, okay, it took them this long to push out something of this caliber. Like I stated before, and I'll state again for people who didn't comprehend what I said, I feel as though it was wasted R&D to bring out an Xbox One X. It was wasted money for you to continuously invest in streamers when you should have invested into your studios a long time ago instead of bringing out a console that has only been 2.5 years, and now you're getting ready to push out another one?
Exactly.
But again, Microsoft has a never-ending wallet, so they don't care. They're dropping cars from the ceiling at E3. For what?
It's like I said to Jay. It's like I said to Jay yesterday, Yella. Back in 2013 when obviously Don got fired, and it was a sense of what they were looking for the next person to lead Xbox. Nadella was on the aspects of consideration that Xbox as a brand division was going to get it was just going to go. The thing that kind of swayed his thoughts, one of the reasons why it kind of like swayed his thoughts of not doing it completely was the sense that Xbox as a part of the Microsoft brand gives it fucking character. Because if Xbox wasn't a part of Microsoft right now, it would just be a company where you just look at it as a suit, right? You know, it's just basically all these suits, you know, tech. It's like, okay, cool. But with Xbox, within Microsoft's brand, gives it a bit of character, gives it a bit of an approachability where it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe they're not all, you know, stuck up, all suit guys, and they don't enjoy what they do. And that is literally that is the case of what's going on with Xbox right now. Like they're there for that reason. They're there to give Microsoft the aspect where they've got a bit of character to them. You know what? I like that.
Yeah.
Business aspect. That's only one aspect, anyway.
Yeah, I just think. Go ahead, Big Money.
Oh, I'm sorry, Yellow.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say was it like I like what you said, but it's so crazy, man, that they waited. What is this? Their third console, and they finally realized that they needed studios.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, you waited 3 consoles. You said to yourself, "Damn, we ain't got no studios."
Yeah,
like that's insane.
They didn't have studios, but they had IPs, bro. And one of my all-time favorite IPs on the Xbox was Alan Wake. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do nothing with that other than push out what was the American Nightmare, which was a DLC, little arcade game. That's it. Yep. Other than that, they didn't do nothing with it, bro. Nothing. Nothing at all. Whatever happened.
Series to come back for a
exactly.
While,
Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey. You see what I'm saying? Whatever happened to Crimson Skies?
Two gems of last generation. Too.
Infinite Undiscovery.
That Crimson Skies. I don't know if you guys remember Crimson Skies on the original Xbox.
Skies, yeah.
That thing was a banger. Yeah, I mean, me personally, man, I just feel as though Microsoft, and again, I'm a fan of Microsoft or the Xbox brand, okay. But as of right now, what they pitched this entire generation, again, I've had all three versions of the console, from the standard to the S to the X. Yes, I support it because I'm a fan of gaming. Okay, I own the Switch. Hey, it's not for me. I outgrew the Switch, or I shouldn't say the Switch, but I outgrew Nintendo. Okay, I get it. I used to work in the GameStop. I understand the market. Nintendo's forever going to be there. You feel what I'm saying? But Microsoft, their pitch to the consumer is so confusing. You feel what I'm saying? And Jay, y'all should know, man. Like I'm behind the scenes. Like I know my shit, but at the same time, I've tried to interact with individuals on Twitter, and there's just so much idiotic individuals that I don't have the energy and time to basically explain myself to these people. No, you see what I'm saying?
No, you
don't. I made a statement on Twitter not too long ago, and people butt hurt and ruffled their feathers and everything because of what Colt Eastwood said, which was fraudulent information. You feel what I'm saying? And I corrected, and of course, I got all these little Xbox cults and all this other, you know what I'm saying, like coming at me. I'm like, whatever, dude. These motherfuckers are idiotic. You know what I'm saying? You know, these are the same individuals that praise Yakuza being an awesome game because it came to Xbox. But how long has Yakuza been out? I'll wait. You're just now. Exactly. So if you choose to pick a multi-platform console over a console that delivers exclusives plus multi-platforms, that is a you problem. That's not a me problem. You feel what I'm saying? If you choose to continue to support that brand when they're not even supporting you as a consumer, that is a you problem. That's not a me problem because at the end of the day, I know where I need to go to get my games. There's no point in me having an Xbox when their pitch is that, hey, you can play your games on the iPhone, you can play it on the Android, you can play it on the computer, you can play it on the tablet. Then what's the point of owning a fucking Xbox? I have anybody explain, I'm not going to say anybody in the panel, but I'm just saying to the masses, I even asked these individuals the question, what's the point of owning an Xbox when they're pitching Game Pass to PC? And you can play everything on PC. P.S. How's Gears Tactics on Xbox One X, sir? Come on, man.
Dude, I just got told that.
I know myself too as well, sir.
Exactly.
I would like to know myself.
Put the fanboy status aside, bro. At the end of the day, Microsoft is the best way I can say it, bro. Phil does not have the answers. He doesn't. We need Peter Moore back in the building to make Xbox what it was.
Right.
Don Matrick.
I'm just stating facts, bro.
Catch your super chats. Somebody just asked me if you're gonna catch
That's funny. That's funny, Yellow. That's funny.
Yeah, let me get it.
That's funny, Yellow.
Yeah, you had a couple of them too. I forgot. I've seen
The
a couple
fanboy
of them.
status aside, bro.
Painting, you gotta learn how to read, dude.
Microsoft is a
I can read the notification. Fucking
as the
alarm
best way I
is
can
not
say it, bro.
going
Phil
off.
does not have the
Just
answer.
read the chat.
He does.
Because Yella,
He
what's
doesn't.
called gas
We need
store,
Peter Ward back
what's
in
it,
the
after
building.
Okay,
event,
hold on. Let me
That's
get
what
this.
it was.
Let me get
John
a couple of these
Matcher.
super chats.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Hold on.
Hold on, Adam. Go ahead,
Let
Jay.
me get these super chats out of
Yeah,
the way.
I know.
Andrew Wilkins.
That's funny, Yella.
Big money. Sony has been whooping Microsoft ass since
That's funny, Yella.
2010.
Yeah, you had a
Yeah,
couple
that's
of
true.
them too. I
That's
forgot.
true.
I've seen
The
a couple of them.
fanboy status aside, bro.
Painting, you gotta learn how to read, dude.
Microsoft is.
I haven't gotten it. I didn't get the notification. I can read the notification.
He got one from one of the new people.
Best way I can say it, bro.
Was it
Phil does not have
Dirt
the answer.
something?
He does.
Yella.
Giggity. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Dirk Griggity's the man, bro.
Okay, so we got him. Why they keep telling me it's more to read? Okay.
It's probably because they expired and you didn't see them.
Oh.
Going off of what Yella said, somebody just told me, like, and I'm gonna assume it's with a straight face, that the cloud in general is gonna take over gaming by 23 or 24. What do y'all think of that?
Please stop.
No.
No, like a definitive no, right? Yeah.
No.
That's like Ubisoft saying about how console gaming was going to go. Same for Michael Pachter. I remember him saying after E3, after PS3 and 360, there won't be any more consoles. Look where we are right now.
Wait, dude, Nintendo doesn't even have a service up yet, and it wouldn't be Xbox that would just turn everything around with the cloud. It'd either be PlayStation or Nintendo, you'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Look what PlayStation did with PlayStation Now, bro. Like, I would not leave the cloud success in the hands of Xbox. No,
I think it's I was just gonna say after Thursday's event, I went to go and watch Jeff Keighley's reaction. He took it offline, both Twitter and YouTube, because some of the things he was doing on his fucking stream, which people were getting a bit pissed off about, Xbox fans being the case. And then he did like a bonus round or final round or whatever it was, like he used to do with Game Traders, where he did the show with Michael Pachter, him, and Peter Moore. And it was interesting to hear these three, talk about the event, because Peter Moore obviously, went from Dreamcast, Xbox to EA to then.
Okay, I got another super chat from Andrew Wilkins. All Xbox fans are punks. Rand blocked me long ago because I told him long ago he was wrong on his prediction that Fable and
Scalebound,
I think he meant Scalebound, would release this gen. Oh shit, that was a bold prediction back then. Huh. Mm-hmm. That was a bold prediction. You were right about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's cool again, like hearing those three talk about like that show, but then also the sense of like hearing, I heard what Pachter said, and like as much as that guy might have had some sense of credibility back in the day where people actually listened to him quite a lot.
He's lost it.
He's lost it now, bro. I remember when he talked about how Wii U was going to sell 1 million units within the first year or something like that, or like something like that. And like I said earlier on about, consoles going away after PS3 and Xbox 360 didn't happen. Like, that guy is so wrong. And I'm seeing a few Xbox fans actually turn around and say, don't listen to him either, because he literally has gone out and said that they will be releasing that console at 400, undercutting Sony, and Sony will be 500, because the controller, the DualSense controller, is the thing that's going to cost $100. Like, are you fucking delusional? Like, Jesus. It's also a sense that he believes that Xbox will allow you as a customer to pay $50 a month for Game Pass, Xbox Live, and the console, like you would do like with a mobile phone, basically, like a contract sort of thing. And I'm like, well, first of all, they're not going to fucking do that at all, but they have got something similar to that where you have to pay, where you can pay like monthly fees to buy the console. Which
they have a special going on right now with the Xbox Series One X where you can no money down, $25 a month, no AR, no APR, and you get the choice to upgrade to the next console.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. Like he said that. This is what he said, right? On top of that, he thinks that like they will do a Game Pass Xbox Live version of that where you get all that, but for like $50 a month. I'm like, no, they're not going to do that. No.
That's retarded.
That's retarded, yeah. I mean, I said this to Jay like yesterday, man. Like, they've made 6 consoles in the span of 7 years, man. Microsoft has put a lot of money within that division on the tech side, right? And with these next 2 consoles coming out, which is the S and the X, do you think that they're gonna like downgrade? I mean, they could take a loss from their console, but like for me personally, I feel like they're gonna want to keep it to a sense where they can profit, because like they've made, like I said, 6 consoles, right? Whenever these consoles at the end of this year, it'll be 6 consoles within the span of 7 years, and then on top of that, they've lowered the price of their consoles more frequently than what PlayStation have, which is bonkers. So there's a lot of like
smoke and mirrors.
Well, no, it's like there's a lot of like factors going into next gen where, you know, PlayStation could go for a lower price and theoretically Xbox will have to go for a higher price, because again, like, you know, for Xbox to keep going down this route of just spending more money and then not profiting from that until a few years later, they don't like that, man. They want to be profiting some factor or way. They want to, regardless of how much they have in their back pocket. I mean, even though Microsoft own Xbox, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have all the money of Microsoft behind them. They get a budget. That's the thing. I mean, it's like when Xbox fans were saying how Xbox could buy CD Projekt Red, they could buy like fucking Sega and all that bits and bobs. Like, no.
They can buy a lot of studios, bro. But it's just to the fact is that studio gonna be wanting to support only that platform?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's another factor. Yeah, but again, like CD Projekt Red, they're not gonna fucking turn themselves over to the extent where they're gonna sign that deal. Hell no. It's like I said during the week this week about From Software. A lot of people want them to get signed by Sony, but the thing is, I don't think that will happen, because again, the company that backs them right now, they're set.
They already have a master, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man.
They're not independent.
Yeah, bro. I think that's what it is, bro. I mean, like, for me, I said this to Jay, I would not be surprised if PS5 was $400. Would not be surprised whatsoever, because again, of how the PS4 came out this generation, but profiting by a small margin and then that growing every year. Also, to the extent where they haven't, they've released 3 consoles, but then obviously, they normally change over the vanilla PlayStation to the Slim, so technically it's 2 now. And also with the Pro, they haven't really diminished the price nearly as much as what the Xbox One X has, which that's a more powerful console, but yet that's cheaper. And it's like Sony have just basically said to themselves, we're not diminishing the price if it's still selling. So, all that money they've been accumulating in profit aspects as well as software and services, that will basically go towards them willing to take a loss for the PS5. And that will only last for a year and a half. Year and a half.
Hey guys, I'm gonna ask y'all a question right quick. I'm sorry, Adam.
No, I'm done.
You guys think that only gonna do another VR system in the next couple of years?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into that.
Another 2 or 3 years.
I would say 3 years. I think they're waiting. They're waiting for like a new stem of VR titles to kind of justify them going for it. So yeah.
Because to be honest with you, I own VR and I got Moss, Astrobot, which is pretty much a dope ass game. Gave me that Mario 64 feel. I've played Resident Evil 7. Not 7, Biohazard 7, I'm sorry. Played that in VR. I mean, it's very justified to push the boundaries of what everybody wanted.
Have you tried No Man's Sky, Yellow?
But yeah, definitely. I'd say probably 2-3 years. We'll definitely get a newer version.
I'll be honest with you, that even though I wouldn't be able to play it, but that Walking Dead VR game looks really interesting.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then what's it called? They got Iron Man. Iron Man got pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For just the momentum off of Marvel alone. You know what I'm saying? So, that's going to push units.
Jay, you got your boy Ray supporting.
Rafe. I hate this fucking super chat shit. I'm gonna have to set up the
Hello.
OBS.
What's going on, Eddie?
I gotta set up the OBS.
Are you watching New York Undercover, Eddie? What was that, Brian?
Fucking Brian.
Malik Yoba, baby.
Okay, I got you, Rafe. You sent a $2 super chat. You didn't attach a message though. But thanks for the super chat. I'm trying to see if we can get those notifications because the only thing I see is the shit that pops up on the screen, but it won't make a sound. It did have a sound attached to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm watching the stream on Xbox. Ironically enough, it shows all your stuff.
Yeah, but see, the super chat, I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't have a sound bar. Yeah, it doesn't. The only thing that has a sound bar is my desktop 1, desktop 2, and my mic, and my Elgato. So I don't know what happened for the super chat not to have a
Jesus fucking
sound
Christ.
bar. It's weird.
Holy
That shit's supposed to have a tone to it.
Jesus.
That is weird as fuck.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I gotta set that up later on. I'm gonna have to go back to the other OBS on the internet and set that shit up. Nah,
Yeah,
it's supposed to have like a little ringtone
1 minute.
when
1 minute.
I get the
1
super
minute,
chat.
hold on, because Jay's talking. What do you say, Eddie?
Holler at Eddie. My boy Eddie.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, Jay, shut the fuck up for a minute, man. Or unmute him, for fuck's sake. You say Call of Duty, yeah, go ahead. Well, yeah, of course it is.
And PC
Yeah,
is
I know.
at 198 right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
I
the
know,
game
I know.
is already almost at 200 gigs.
Yeah, it is.
170, 180 something.
Yeah.
185.
And they don't optimize anything.
I don't know what the fuck they do with their fucking memory, man. I know there's updates, bro, but they really don't optimize that thing at all. And listen, if like, going into next gen consoles, man, they're doing the same shit. They're not really fucking helping anyone.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's a good Call of Duty though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, I
This
know.
is.
Like, you want, you don't want your hard drive space taken up by that fucking game, really, man.
A lot of people talking about it right now. Upset
No, a
about
lot
it.
of people ain't talking about external hard drives.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
bro.
Hey, that's what they need to get.
I got a random question, by the way.
Oh, go ahead.
So with Cyberpunk 27, we got this fake outrage with The Last of Us. This whole transgender cybernetic dildo, is that going to help or hurt the game in terms of Game of the Year awards?
That's what, I said.
They'll help the game.
It'll help the game, okay.
They'll help the game.
I
Cause
mean, the
not-
thing is with
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, everybody's used to shit like that. When you
Yeah.
play Cyberpunk like games, that's the reason people play them, for the possibility, because it is strictly fantasy. But with Last of Us, it's something that's like quote unquote super realistic.
But what baffles me is everybody's panties are in the water with this Last of Us 2, right? Upon what they're trying to push on people. But what people fail to realize is Far Cry 5 did it as well, but nobody batted an eye.
Yeah, they did.
I wonder why. I wonder why all the hype and the panties are in the water, because it's the most anticipated game from a fucking platform that's hated by so many fucking people that don't even
Ding,
play
ding, ding,
PlayStation.
But
Don't forget, it was
say,
a lot of people that no one really gives a fuck about Ubisoft.
Exactly. I mean, if they were that concerned about it, they would have said something when the game originally dropped. Like, fuck out of here.
I can, dude.
Right.
I wrote down a list of games that that were like controversial in some fucking sense of way, whether it's religion, sexuality, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cyberpunk, within the rating system in Australia, which is ERB, whatever the fuck it was, it had obviously the basics of gore, sex, violence, what this was, and then there was a little fine aspect which most people don't really want to read or even get into, but a sense of quote unquote, it basically mentioned about crucifixion. It's like, okay, so if that's in there, people like, I don't know, let's just put him out there, Smooth, like a fucking idiot that he is, talking about how it's breaking his religious fucking, perspectives.
Fuck out of here.
Would that break your religious perspectives of crucifying people in the game? Oh, it wouldn't? Alright, cool. Dickhead, get on.
Okay,
Move.
okay. Hold on.
Hold on a second. Hold on before you say something, Jay. Has anybody seen the Castlevania anime on Netflix?
Saw it. Yeah, I love it.
Everybody loved it, right?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty solid, right?
It was more.
But why didn't anybody say a damn thing when Alucard got his shit pushed in? When his manhood was fucking taken.
Oh yeah, so I kind of skipped over that because I knew where that was going.
They sodomized him?
Yeah, they
but you see what I'm
sodomized
saying?
the fuck out of that dude.
Yeah, Alucard got raped by a woman and a dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
A brother and a sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell? They show that shit on the game.
Castlevania's got some dark lore, man.
Yeah, it's got some dark
But again, nobody said fucking anything. Nobody batted an eye. Nobody fucking protested. Nobody got.
That's because a lot of the people who play video games don't watch quote unquote anime also. So
I watch anime all the time religiously.
I said a lot of them because there are some, like, you gotta think about all the people who are crying about anime boobs and all this stuff. A lot of them don't watch anime.
Or got an anime blow up doll.
Exactly. Okay.
So waiting for mine to come in the mail.
One of those people, and then also you gotta think about the people who. A lot of the people who I think are going to be crying about the crucifixions are Bible thumpers who don't really play video games at all. They're going to wait until it's actually shown. You can type whatever you want to type all day long. Like, everybody knew Ellie was gay, this, that, and the other. It was in typing. The moment you start showing images of that shit, the communities are going to blow the fuck up about it.
Well, in reference to what you just said upon that, I remember when the trailer first got shown of her and her girlfriend dancing.
Yeah.
Remember, like,
people
okay,
were
remember they were
outraged at that shit.
Yeah, they were at the event. Yeah, and I remember being at a party, and the individual said, "My mom didn't like it, blah blah this, blah blah that." Well, fuck your mom, she ain't gotta watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they did that for that. They did it for the 2018 gameplay. Then they did it again for the preview event last year with the aspects of you have to kill dogs. Oh, I don't want to do that. It's like, dude, you don't have to. And that shit really bottled back up to this week because apparently there was a memo that got sent out and everyone was like, oh, we have to kill dogs.
But here's the one thing that kills me is. Why the hell did GameStop make it so that it's important for them because GameStop put on their website one of the best features of the game is you get to kill dogs.
Yeah, that's it.
What the hell? Okay, so I understand that, but my thing is okay, GameStop want to highlight that shit. Why isn't there anything else to highlight in the game?
That's what made
GameStops are idiots. I used to work for the company. That company's full of shit.
I ain't know. For real, that used to work for them?
Yeah, I used to work for them.
I worked for them I worked for them before I worked for Funko Land before they acquired them years and years
ago. So, can I ask y'all a question? What old Bug gonna do about it though? The one who bought GameStop.
Who? He didn't buy it. He didn't buy it. Eddie. He did not.
Oh, he did?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
No. He joined them.
He's talking about old buddy from Nintendo.
Yeah, he didn't buy it.
He didn't buy them. He just joined them, but I don't even know if he's still part of them because he's talking about going to something else now.
No, yeah, Reggie partnered up with
what, the board of directors?
The board. No, yeah, it's not the board. The person that bought it was the guy. It was the guy that in that film Big Short, right, with Christian Bale, them lot in that film. And Steve Krause, the guy that film is based on, bought up GameStop.
To
do a turnaround. That's the guy that bought it. In which he's still amalgamating the plans, but obviously with Corona happening, that's kind of fucked him up a little bit because he can't do everything that he wanted to do. So he's kind of like tossing and turning what he could do next, or he's waiting for the opportunity for when the lockdown, whether it ends, is what it is. Yeah. That's what's happened there. But I think I don't like saying it, man, but there's a shit ton of fake outrage. There really is. And I mentioned it. I think I mentioned this during the week, right? I took it upon myself to go back on previous Naughty Dog games, right? Videos of Naughty Dog games within YouTube. and I found it astonishing that I literally could go back as far as the original announcement trailer to Last of Us Part 1 or Last of Us 1, right, in 2010, and find spoilers in that comment section. People are actually going to that extent to spoil the game. And even Uncharted, they're going into that game going, hey, you hear about this fucking thing in Last of Us Part 2? It's like, why are you doing this? What is your end game? I know you're trying to piss off people, you're trying to get some sort of recollection, but like, I'm getting to the point where, you know, it's kind of like what happened with like the Game Award in 2018, where people were like, Red Dead's going to win easy, and then God of War did. I really do hope Last of Us gets great reviews, just to piss off people, and on top of that, wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
I'm gonna laugh too.
I would love that to happen. Just a
what was old buddy? What was old buddy's name that did that tweet and pretty much shut everybody up in a very polite manner, and pretty much said, bro, like, you just because you're here in the ending of a game, it's a journey. You know what I'm saying? It is a journey. So for you to sit there and say that you're gonna justify your expectations off of a spoiler, whatever happened to the beginning, whatever happened to the middle, and obviously you may know the end, just for the same fact of Titanic. We all knew Titanic sunk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Sick Humor said this, and it was very, very, very logical and basically correlation to what we're talking about. Obviously, we all know Titanic sunk. But you remember when that movie came out in the 90s?
Yeah, everyone loved it.
That motherfucker did numbers, bro.
Yeah,
we already knew what the end of the story was.
I mean, dude, like,
my point exactly.
I mean, to any person that kind of like, because I've had a couple of people kind of step to me in the sense where, oh, that's just a bullshit excuse. I remember saying to one of them, give me 10 minutes of your time and I'll tell you how stupid you fucking sound. Give me 10 minutes. And like, obviously they didn't want to fucking answer that. Like, cool, man. But I tell you, like, fucking, give me 10 minutes. I'll tell you why this shit don't matter. Because the fact of the matter is, right, this game theoretically in full production took 4 years to make, 6 years if you're talking about the entirety of writing the script, mocap, and all the bits and bobs, right? You're telling me just a handful of spoilers, handful of leaks, or have the opportunity or have the ability to tarnish a whole game that took 6 fucking years to make. Really?
Exactly.
What I find funny though about this, Adam, is that there's no campaign that was like paid to do this. People are all banding together to do this for free. In their spare time, they're trying to make this game look like one of the worst games ever, and we know it's not going to happen. At the end of the day, there are going to be more gamers that show off gameplay, post screenshots. You won't be able to go a single place without seeing somebody enjoy this game.
I mean, the only thing for me is okay, the spoilers came out. You make your choice whether you're gonna buy it or not based on the spoilers. Don't fucking sit here and bitch about it and hurt somebody else's thing.
Yeah.
If they want to get it, okay, let them spend their money and get it. Wait until afterwards, and they'll be like, "Oh man, that game was bad, this, that, and the other." The only thing I'm hoping about is people don't try to. I mean, everybody's gonna love the game whether they love it or hate it, but some people who will hate it will still stand there and damage control it. Like they don't it's nothing wrong with it. But if there's issues, be honest with the issues. But right now, you just had spoilers. You basically is all you had.
You're just crying.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're bitching and crying and trying to hurt other people who may actually love the idea or whatever.
Yeah,
they're bitching and crying because they don't have shit to play. And then what Kid Smooth, like I said, I know all these little major YouTubers, man. Half of these motherfuckers sound like fucking Clarence, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Listen, I know this guy got a lot of flat, bro, but I will gladly stick Kid Smooth's ass on a fucking pike.
Oh God!
God damn!
Let that motherfucker burn,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean,
I will let that guy burn because listen, when it comes down to the sense of not how he reacted to it or why it was the sense, well, for me, like, if he spoiled the game, I'll be like, okay, but it's the factor of why he fucking did it, right? Like how, everyone's
like, you know what? I think that we need to talk about that. We have other topics, obviously, but we do need to talk about why Kid Smooth made the decision to spoil The Last of Us after he had already saw the spoilers. He had knew about the spoilers for a week. before he decided to spoil the game, I believe, Friday.
So for anybody, my thing is this: for anybody that wants to go and spoil or try to tarnish a creative IP that people are anticipating, you see what I'm saying? You had no intentions of buying the game. Same thing with Death Stranding. Oh, it's a walking simulator. It's this. It's that. It's that. It's this. Well, again, I'm canceling my pre-order. Blah blah this. I had somebody cancel a pre-order the day to get, bro.
Yeah.
Cancel this console and everything. I was like, why'd you cancel it? Because IGN gave it a bad score. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So you canceled a pro, whether you like the game or not. You would have had a pro. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I put that in a tweet. You know what I'm saying? If you canceled your pre-order going into this game, you had no intentions of buying the game. Same thing I'm gonna say for The Last of Us Part 2. If you're canceling, you're trying to spoil it, you're trying to bash the game, you had no intentions of buying the game from the get-go. Every time my pre-order got canceled on my PlayStation and the money got refunded back to my account, I put that money right back on the motherfucking game.
That's why I don't like myself.
No question asked.
I mean, it's also like you just mentioned, right? They cancel their pre-order, right? And they say, I'm canceling my pre-order for X reason, right? Okay, cool. But don't cancel your pre-order for X reason, then go ahead and be like, hey, I'm going to spoil the game for others. That's a dick move. That's a really dick move. I'm sorry, that is. Like,
for this generation, and like I said, we fucking with Jay and starting to do Twitter and shit, bro. It just opened my eyes to see that there's a lot of fraudulent individuals out here that call themselves gamers. They're doing it for clout chasing.
So,
they're doing it for views. They're doing it for clicks.
Let's break this up. I wanted to get through one super chat we did not read. This one was from Dirt Grigety?
Yeah,
is that his name? Yeah. He says, even though I'm Team
Dirt
Xbox, I
Grigety?
wanted to say what's up to the panel. Sorry, guys, I just figured out where the fucking super chat. I'm telling you, YouTube.
Good job, Jay. Good job.
Yeah,
Good job,
YouTube
Jay.
fucking hides this shit. Y'all do not believe me, bro. YouTube hides fucking shit from you in their fucking shit, bro. Like, you can't even. Why is this not on the front page of the studio? Why can't I just easily access all my super chats? Like,
What'd he say though, Jay?
Huh?
What'd he say? Dirt.
He said, even though I'm Team Xbox, I wanted to say what's up to the panel and my girl Snow Bunny. So, you know, they got the.
Hey, somebody just sent another one. True Witty sent you one too.
Well, they're not putting the new ones up there.
True Wit with the $2 said, how do people hate Last of Us Part 2 but not Cyberpunk with SJW?
Okay, let's put it this way. I'm going to break this down the best way I know. Don't be mad. You know what? Fuck it. You can be mad anyway. Okay, Cyberpunk people made Witcher. Everybody loves Witcher. It doesn't matter what Cyberpunk does. It's the person they want to win Game of the Year. So it doesn't matter if they do the same exact thing as The Last of Us. They're still going to be the champion in the eyes of the people.
Yeah, but they don't choose it, my man.
I know, but I'm just letting you know.
Whatever you want to call it.
I'm just letting you know right now. They can do no fucking wrong. They can do no wrong.
They get 10% of the vote.
There's never been a console game where they let you mess with fucking penises and vaginas and shit. The size and lengths and all that dumb shit.
Bro, I mean,
bro, they about to have a raw ass game out here, bro.
Hey, look, Jay. Hold on, Adam. Hold on. Clarification, bro. When you're a boy, you have a penis. When you're a man, you got a dick.
Well, bro, I saw people say they gonna make a 2-inch out there, bro. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they doing, bro.
Boobies and titties.
Bro, all I'm gonna say though, I hope people understand. Just because they put it in the game, YouTube might and Twitch might not be kind if you spend a little bit too much time on creating your private parts. You might get your video flagged.
I'm gonna make Ron Jeremy as my main character. What the fuck you talking
That's
about?
illegal, bro. I'm not allowing that.
You guys, man, crack.
Oh god.
No, but I'm saying, bro, I can see some people's videos getting flagged down because they spend a little bit too much time on that area.
When you're in school, it's like, what's this?
There's
What's
still
this
videos.
item?
There's still videos of fucking Conan Exiles on PC.
I was about to
See
say
guys
that.
walking around with their dogs flopping around, dude.
Hey, bro, but you I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Hey, on all jokes aside, did anybody in here play the Ballad of Gay Tony GTA?
Yeah.
No.
A little bit of it.
Yeah.
So if anybody's played it thoroughly, it's been a while since I played it, but I'll never forget because my girl, now my wife, was watching me play it. And through cutscenes, there was a guy getting a massage. He was like pretty much at a massage parlor, a spa, whatever. And every time you interacted with him, like when you first interacted with him, the camera was like up to his chest. And through each segment that you interacted with, the camera kept getting lower and lower and lower. And then at one point, bro, he takes his towel off, and all you see is this pixelated fucking Mandingo just hanging there through the entire cutscene. So I would have to say, to be honest with you, upon that whole aspect, it's already been done. You know what I'm saying?
Just looking and saying, oh man, I'm getting rock hard. This is wrong.
No, exactly. Rockstar's been there and done that.
There was like shit like that in fucking The Order 1886 and whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah, when they transform, when that old man transformed to the wolf.
I think the thing with Last of Us is people, from the spoilers, which are out of context, believe, and from what I've understood, people, when they've spoiled it for me, I don't know what their intentions, but because they're all putting the same type of spoilers, they might think that I have some people, if you spoil it for them, they might feel your way and say, hey, that game's bad and I don't want to buy it anymore. I don't really care what the villain is. The villain could be a lizard. You know what I'm saying? The villain could be anything. Like, it was the same thing with The Last of Us. You don't know what the villain's going to be until the end of the fucking game.
About that, right? That statement there it's funny to me. It's like, who is the villain in Last of Us Part 1? There is no villain.
There was no real villain, yeah.
This isn't like Uncharted where you have raped fucking Lazarovich.
That was a good boss. I like that.
I spoil all this shit for myself, dude, man, and I still don't give a shit. I'm still fucking copying it, dude.
That's what
I don't give a
Nobody's gonna miss out on this experience. I don't see it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The only people that's pissing me off about the whole thing of canceling the pre-orders and everything, there's some YouTubers out here talking about they don't believe it. Well, they don't like the way the direction is going, the story is going, this, that, and the other. Okay, I'm okay with that. But then when they get up here and talk about, well, I'm gonna still buy it and play it and stream it just so that you guys can see what the game is looking like, because I feel like I owe that to the fans. You don't owe shit to the fan. Only thing you trying to do is get money.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Pissing me off.
Exactly.
See, like Snowboy, what you just said there, right? People saying that it's not going in the direction that they want, right? That's the thing that kind of like out of the whole leak situation. That's the thing that pisses me off with like what people are saying in the sense of, oh, I don't like the story because I don't like the direction it's going. Right? It's like, well, newsflash. They are making the story in their way, not your fucking way. They weren't thinking about the gamers or the players like, oh, what they want to say. Because if they did, they'll be asking you, where do you want the game to go? But then if they did that, it'll be the sense of, you would know the fucking story anyway. So it's like they're going off their own sort of hunch of, we want to make this story in our way. And it's like, yeah, do it. It's like every film director, man. Like, do you think like Martin Scorsese asks people freaking like, where do you want my films to go? Fuck no. Quentin Tarantino, same thing. Like, he didn't ask you for like, you know, how you want his films to go. He just makes them. Like, I hate that. I really do. Like, I felt there's a lot of people that are like basically doing like, they're asking those sort of things, and I'm like, I feel like this is like a lot of things that are spiraling around fucking Last of Us is just bullshit. It's I don't like to say fake outrage, but it's just bullshit entirely.
Oh, it is fake outrage, Adam.
It
is fake outrage.
I just don't like using it as a word, man. I just think of it as like complete fucking bullshit. Because, like I said, the dogs, right? Killing the dogs, right? That news was out there last year in September, and people and because of all the leaks and stuff like that, elevating shit, everyone's like, oh my god, you killed dogs in this game as well? It's like, we knew about this last year, and it's like, I didn't. It's like, I think you did.
Before the information Nobody really bitched and complained about killing animals in there.
Yeah,
Red Dead
I
Redemption
don't
2?
see that's what I mean, bro.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. Like I said, it's fake outrage, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is
fake
definitely
outrage.
fake outrage, man. Yo, like, because if people actually cared about that shit, man, like they would sit there and say the same shit for like hunting games too. Oh, I don't want to kill that deer. I don't want to kill that moose.
Fuck that. GTA in general, you kill human beings. You steal cars. You get your dick sucked by a prostitute. You gain more health. You know what I'm saying? That's GTA. Nobody plays GTA for the story. I do. I enjoy it. But the mass majority of casuals do not play GTA for the story. They just run around, cause Nico Bellic. But no, dead ass, man. Like it's fake outrage, bro. Like you're sitting there hooping and hollering about a dog, but you're okay to fucking play GTA to kill humans and Call of Duty to kill humans. Like get the fuck out of here, man. They're pixelated characters. It's not real.
Wait, I feel like. I mean, I don't know if this could be the case of like everyone being indoors, they just want something to fucking do, so like doing that shit, or it's just a sense of again like society, like just society in general is just fucking soft as hell. They just really are.
Yeah, they are soft as hell. Well, put gaming aside, bro. You are definitely right, Adam. Society is soft as hell. Do you think Living Color would be aired on television if it dropped now? Do you think Ren and Stimpy would be aired if it dropped right now? Hell no. Not even exactly, bro. So, I mean, bro, I heard people get offended off
Did I hear somebody talk about the 90s?
Yeah, I heard. No, that's serious, bro. I heard people get offended from Seinfeld. How the hell do you get offended from Seinfeld?
Okay, let's take it a step further. How many mothers and how many young females will be offended by Johnny Bravo?
Jesus Christ.
Come on.
Fuck me.
Come on.
Cartoon porn star.
Come on, man.
There'll be loads, man. I mean,
I'm just saying, it's like, I've said it to Yella and I've said it to Adam multiple times. This is the age of sensitivity. And it doesn't matter how good the game used to be with The Last of Us 1. This time around, everybody's sensitive about anything. All I'm going to say is treat both games fairly. If you can be sensitive about a transvestite in The Last of Us, you should be sensitive about a transvestite in Cyberpunk. That's all I'm saying. Be fair.
Just to prove like the aspect of just people being soft, or just in general, people just like not being like oblivious to certain things. I think it was a couple of weeks ago that people started finding out that Robert Downey Jr. went blackface in Tropic Thunder. And apparently, and because they found that shit out, you had people on Twitter going, I don't respect him as an actor anymore. Why? Because he went blackface for a film that he played a white actor in?
And did a damn good job
of
it too, man.
What was funny is, if you watch the movie, you would understand that because he was such a dedicated actor, he went through a surgical procedure to become black.
Yeah.
So he was not actually.
How they do it though.
Yeah, he was not the negative blackface where, I'm gonna put some brown paint on my face. He actually went through it in the movie, and what I liked about it.
Yeah, looking at you, Trudeau.
Yeah, it was a pretty damn good message. You know, if you watch Tropic Thunder, bro, I got Tropic Thunder at Blu-ray, and I got that shit years ago. I never watched the Blu-ray.
That movie's amazing.
Blu-ray's fucking hilarious, bro. I'm telling you, the movie is hilarious.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, look, I gotta get up out of here. And that's what I'm going to say. Let me get up out of here. I gotta, I gotta get
Mother's Day
time with wifey and everything. So I'll definitely catch up with y'all later, man.
Okay.
Later, Yella.
All right, man.
Yeah, Big Man, I did not hear you just say, is it Mother's Day?
Bro, I told my mom Happy Mother's Day early this morning.
It's a pity he's gone because I was going to dispute one of the things he said.
What was that?
Dispute one of the things you've said.
Oh, shit.
What was that?
Well, there's two things, right? One was about GTA being compared to The Last of Us, and the other one was Cyberpunk.
In what form?
So, GTA, it's a cartoon. It's not to be taken seriously. It's got comedy all the way through the game. It's very so, you know, the kind of violence you get in that game, it's not to be taken seriously, and it's played off as a joke. Whereas in The Last of Us, they go to great lengths to make these characters very empathetic. You really care about them. You cared about them all the way through the first game. And so having things happen to them in this game will upset people.
Yeah,
Okay.
but everybody should understand this is the last game in the series. There is not a part 3.
If it didn't upset people, they wouldn't do their job properly. So
the problem is with this being mentioned is that it's obviously the game is based on a quadricep virus, which theoretically is a real thing, but again they basically formulated it to the extent where what if it went on to humans? But the thing is, in short, it's a fucking fictional tale. It's a fictional thing in which they are making up. It's fiction. It doesn't matter. And
but by that argument, it wouldn't matter if it was a movie, and that means that there's no movie that you've ever seen in your life that hasn't affected you emotionally while you were watching it, at least. I mean, you can be fine afterwards, but while you were watching it, you were like upset by it.
I mean, after again, like
does that count with porn as well?
God
yeah,
damn
exactly.
So I'm saying that if the movie's really good, I don't actually consider video games art for technical reasons. But if the movie's really good and really involved with the characters and you care about them and then they suffer, you suffer along with them.
Well, yeah, that's the whole reasoning for characters, man. You're putting characters in a game, a film, a TV series, or whatever. Like, you want that to be the case. Otherwise, right, why are you fucking making up these characters?
Probably eating some pedia cat food.
Now, the other thing with Cyberpunk, that's different because it's a new IP. So they've got a blank slate to do what they want with.
Sorry, what, the next game they make?
No, this is a completely new game. Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, it does.
Oh, yeah.
But people who like the board game might say it's not enough like the board game. They've changed it or something.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like a sequel to The Last of Us where we have characters that are continuing from the first game, and then we're not necessarily happy with how they're handled. There are no characters from a previous Cyberpunk game that might get ruined or get disposed of in a way we're uncomfortable with.
What I don't understand uncompetitive is if you were a real, and this is not directed to you, this is directed to anybody that's presenting any type of fake outrage. If you were such a real Last of Us fan, you would have played the Left Behind. What I'm understanding is most of the people saying that they don't want to buy Last of Us Part 2 refused to or did not play Left Behind, and maybe also didn't even play The Last of Us. I've came into contact with a lot of trolls that will sit up there and tell me they would get in an argument, and then at the end of the argument they will say, well, I have all consoles. They basically always say that because it gives them an extra layer of defense that maybe I might not come at them as harshly until I ask them what their PSN name is, and then they can't give me one because they don't actually have that console that they said they have. It's the same thing with The Last of Us. They shit on The Last of Us under the pretense that they were a fan of the first one, but if you were a fan of the first one, you would have played the expansion, which was Left Behind, and understood that Ellie had a crush on her girl best friend that she kissed at the end of that little expansion, which made her a lesbian at a very, very young age. So, what I'm not understanding is you're acting like it's brand new that she kissed a girl when she kissed a girl many years ago in the story that you didn't play. You see what I'm saying?
That's not what the problem is.
Well, hold on. That is what the problem is.
I've watched a lot of people who, I know what all the spoilers are and won't say what they are. I know the full plot.
What I'm talking about is leading up to the spoilers. When she kissed the girl in the very first trailer, people were pissed off about it back then, before the spoilers.
Yeah, those are the dumbasses that didn't fucking
tell me,
uncompetitive.
Uncompetitive. Why would that be new to them if they played the expansion? Why would that be new? That means they didn't play the game.
Like,
we're talking about a sequel, meaning this is a continuation of what happened in the first one. She obviously is growing up, right? So after the events of the expansion, you knew where she was going with her sexuality. Why would it be new to somebody that's a true fan of the series?
Hey, you know what? Hey guys, right quick. I want to ask y'all something. This could happen, right? Having all this outrage about this game, just think about it for a second. When HBO series start and they take the characters, the actual characters, and they make Ellie sexual in the movie, that'd be a problem? Could that cause a shitstorm to people?
No.
It may not even be based on those characters for the HBO series either. They're
I'm
big
not
money.
understanding what you mean. Are you saying if they make her, if they do a movie and make her
Take the
straight?
exact characters. They take the exact characters and they make Ellie straight in the movie.
Oh yeah, it's going to cause a huge shitstorm. It's going to cause a shitstorm among the people who like the fact that she's gay.
Yeah. That's in the story. And again,
but what if she's not even included in the HBO series? What if that's just like a one-off?
Neil Druckmann said that those characters will be included.
Him and once again, the guy that wrote Chernobyl and Neil are working together on the script of this series. So they are wanting to put these characters within the series. And obviously this is the way they want to do it, because if they want to do a film, they wouldn't be able to. Again, like series can do certain things that a film can't. Right, they like the aspects of an episodic sort of thing, and it makes sense. And the guy that wrote Chernobyl was a very good writer. Neil, regardless of whether people want to, send that guy death threats and call him a SJW, fucking all that crap like that. The guy wrote both fucking games, and I remember seeing people call him out, saying, "I hope that you don't write for Naughty Dog ever again." Yet they're probably the same people that said they loved The Last of Us writing, they loved the Uncharted 4 writing and Uncharted 2 writing, which he fucking wrote, by the way. So, fuck off.
Haterade, man.
That's what I mean, bro. I do not give a shit, right? When it comes down,
bills, bro.
When it comes down to this game, people are fucking soft on this shit. It's a video game. When people go, like video games. No,
hold on, Adam. Berger send a super chat. Think about this for a minute. You don't build complex characters by using a template of stereotypes. This is why we buy into Naughty Dog games characters, because of the complexity, not the game stereotypes. Exactly. Let me put it this way, people. If they didn't do what they did, it's only but so many different stories you can tell that are like other people's, right? I'm glad they're telling their own story. And you might not like it, you might not agree with what they're doing, but it's their story. It is what it is. If it was like somebody else's story, you'd be saying they copying. But they're not.
Mean, right, Jay, right? That is like, take that, right? The aspects of whether it's you're writing a script, whether you're making a video, whether you're drawing, whatever it is, right? If you're making something, like a creative aspect of something, right? You're creating, and someone comes along and says, "I don't like that. Can you do that instead? Because I like it." It's like, okay, you will like it, but then what about all these other people that will come and see this? Like, they're gonna not like what you like, and then what I like. So what have I got to do? Change it on the fucking go? No. I'm sorry, bro. It's like fucking Christopher Nolan, right, as a director, right? Inception, Interstellar, obviously the Batman series, right? Some people had different opinions within the 3 Batman films. Some people liked the one and over the other. With Inception, people didn't like the film over some other people because of the complexity and some other things and having to watch it multiple times. So if we're in Interstellar, there's always this discussion between, is Interstellar better than Inception because of the aspects of which are going on? It's like, that is what, like, the atmosphere of, like, again, what these guys do. Like, when they're creating stuff, they, again, like I said, they don't go to you and ask you what you want. I mean, when they were making Uncharted 4, they delayed that game, right? Because the ending wasn't right from their point of view. That's Naughty Dog. So when they got testers in, right, to kind of accumulate some sort of information on what they thought, right? Okay, they felt this, they felt that. What can we do to make that ending better? They took it back into their, like, midst, fixed some of the things, and by the end of that story of Uncharted 4, that story was a perfect ending for that guy, for Nate as a character. But okay, we're done. Naughty Dog don't have to make another Uncharted game. We can pass it over to someone else. And that's what they did. They just set ship. They did obviously DLC, which then became a standalone game, which they didn't really know was going to happen. But again, like, they wanted to make a game that was understandable. And with The Last of Us, right? With Vedgar, like, mentioned about complexity on characters. That is absolutely fucking true. They love that shit. When they create characters, they build layers of complexity or just the sense of emotion where this character entails to suit the world or the environment they live in. I mean, you take Joel at the beginning of Last of Us 1, right? 20 years pass. He's a guy that is basically the muscle to Tess. He doesn't care about anybody. He is a ruthless fucking killer. He's a villain in that game, right? He doesn't give a fuck. But by the end of that game, right, or in the middle of that game, you start to see Joel of the old, right, that cares for kids or cares for his daughter, kind of come to fruition every aspect of the game. And then by the end of it, right, when you get to the hospital scene, you then go back to that ruthless aggression of what he would do to obviously help this girl, but then also what he was at the beginning of the game. And it kind of got to the contrast of, by the end of that game, people theoretically, including myself, thought that Joel was actually the villain. He was the bad guy because he went to this extent and this length, and also to the extent where he lies to Ellie to like for his own being, and that could be contradicted as well. Again, that ending gave people different views. Some people didn't want a sequel. Some people did. Some people wondering what the lie actually theoretically meant. Then others thinking it's just a lie. And that's what's so good about going into this game, what it can do. And regardless of the leaks, if you look...
therein lies why the context is missing right there.
We talked about this yesterday when we went off air, and we talked about it for a while, that if you really love The Last of Us 1, you would be a joke if you sit up there and say you're not going to buy this game, because there are references from part 1 in this game, and to a degree, some elements are remade inside of this new engine.
Exactly.
And I'm just saying right now, please sit up there and say you love The Last of Us 1 and skip this game. You will be a fraud in the eyes of real gamers. And I will be calling motherfuckers out. So if I see people like BG, which we know spent hours among hours on fucking Last of Us 1, I will call this dude a fraud if he says he's not going to play this game or he's not going to buy this game because of some, sexualized something going on in it later on. Bro, this game, I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this shit. If you looked at that new trailer... Watch that trailer 3 times, you gotta understand what the fuck they put in that shit.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about that trailer, right? Because I want to say 2 things. The first thing being the case where there's that scene where Joel and Ellie's walking into Pittsburgh. As you all know, and some people, and I've seen people do this shit on Twitter, by the way, and they've been caught out, majorly caught out. They go, yeah, I played Last of Us Part 1. And then you go, well, that scene with Ellie and Joel walking into a town, right? And they go, yeah, that's Pittsburgh. And they go, yes. Did they walk into Pittsburgh? And they go, yeah, they did. No, they drove in.
They drove in on that truck.
Yep. That's a different fucking aspect. Also, when it comes to that trailer, and I was very honest with this, I did like that trailer. But the thing that I will say, comparing that trailer to the original teaser, right, was a sense of building upon, like, the tension in which... theoretically that game will be about, right? I know that was a dark trailer and shit like that, but like it was a sense of like the message that it was trying to point. It was kind of like all these different snippets of the game, whereas in the initial trailer, it kind of gave you context of what that game was going to be about. In that case, where she's in the bedroom playing the guitar, and it's a sense of killing a bunch of guys, and then also this underlayer of like. that dialogue saying, "I'm going to kill every last one of them." Like, and obviously Joel mentioning, "What are you doing, kiddo?" It's like that was a more like impactful sort of atmospheric message to what I got in the last trailer. But that doesn't necessarily mean it means it's bad. It just, again, it's a story trailer, a launch trailer. They've got to build some sort of like, hype value where it's like, oh damn, all right, now I would like to get this game. It's like, yeah, you know what, awesome, I'm in. I'm definitely in. But yeah, bro. Like
the question you were asking me before you were interrupted.
What?
JTech, what was the question you were asking me before?
Why does it seem like there's a lot of people that have a problem with her sexuality, starting in the very first trailer where she kissed the girl, then it went into gameplay. She was in a forest. We know she went in. Yeah. So why would it be a problem to the same people that played the first one?
Man, I saw one dude say that he hoped that when she got into adult, she outgrew that phase. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not wrong, but it's not right either.
Right, you wanted to know what people who are fans of the game, why are they upset?
Why didn't they speak out when she ended up the way that she ended up in the Left Behind story?
People who have played the first game were fans of it but didn't play the DLC. I don't know why that is, but that's
fucked up.
Okay, so
because again, look how long it took for part 2 to even get shown off. You had ample enough time to play that short ass DLC.
Oh, sure. Now there's one of them who's got a channel who does movie reviews. So he mainly watches films, right? And it's called Jody's Corner. Maybe you've come across the channel before.
No.
And he did a rant about it. And he started off by thinking, he's going to do the typical thing of being upset having discovered that Ellie's gay. And he actually says, he would have liked to have seen her, settle down and have a baby and everything, right, with a man. And that's not in her future. Okay? And I was thinking, really? It's not life. It's just a game. Just accept the story and move with what you're given. If she's gay, and, it's going to be something different. Anyway, he then says that it doesn't matter and he's going to go along with how it is. And then they start going over the spoilers. And because people have told him it's terrible, don't buy it, and you need to know the spoilers, and you'll be convinced if you know the spoilers to not get it. And I won't say what any of them are, but before he's even got halfway through the spoilers, he's already decided he's not getting the game. And he was going to get the game before he found out the spoilers. And it has nothing to do with Ellie being gay, because he'd already come to terms with that at the beginning of the show. So it doesn't hinge on Ellie being gay. That's the first thing.
Well, that's one person's perspective.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, I heard the whole story. That's only one person. There are tons of other people that started to crack on if they even wanted to support this game a year or two ago when we saw the first trailer of Ellie kissing a girl.
Yeah.
So they already knew that they didn't like certain things in the game. This was the straw that broke the camel. All I'm saying right now, if you don't want to get the game, I'm fine with it. I'm going to play the fuck out of this game. I don't care if you're a big YouTuber or somebody I've never fucking heard of. The fact of the matter is, don't go out and buy the game later on.
It's stupid, because I think nobody put adults.
That's all I'm saying, man. Don't buy it later on after you said you wasn't going to buy it.
I think, what was it, Snow Bunny, about?
Because that's what we're going to see. I'm letting you guys know right now, we're going to see a lot of people backtracking.
No, just one sec, Jay. Because Snow Bunny, remember you mentioned about Pokemon. What was the hassle with that game? By the
graphics. The graphics didn't look good.
People were complaining about Pokemon, about the graphics, about the Pokedex not being full. Pokedex not being in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A bunch of shit, but that sure as hell didn't stop. And people were complaining about Animal Crossing Because
I mean, with the Pokemon game, it was the first game they'd ever done that you couldn't carry forward all of the Pokemon from the previous games that you'd collected. And I think that was a mistake, and they should have put in a bigger cartridge so you could do that.
Well, here's the thing, bro. At the end of the day, like Snowball's going to say, it didn't fucking matter because those games sold like hotcakes, and also
like even Animal Crossing. With this new Animal Crossing, they were complaining about people were mad because Nintendo didn't put they quote saying Nintendo didn't put the full game in because they didn't put all the holidays in. Where Nintendo said this time around they're going to do updates for the holidays. So people were bitching and moaning about that, but that sure as hell didn't stop them from selling 11 million copies in 11 days. So people have all the fake outrage like shit, but they're still going to buy the shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about this whole Last of Us debacle. I mean, as much as like it is still somewhat floating around, and like I do see it every these past few weeks. It has died down bit by bit. Some people try to bring it back up, but it's like, no, we don't give a fuck anymore. Like we're waiting for the game to come out. Go away.
So what trailer did we see just now? It wasn't launch. That was just a story, right?
Yeah, no. Well, it's technically a launch trailer. It is a launch trailer. Yeah, it's a story trailer, but it's a launch trailer.
Okay, so we know we see other types of trailers when these promotions go on. So, okay, we saw story/launch trailer right there, the one we got last week. That means that the next one might be a bit more of actual gameplay.
I think it'll be the trailer you'll see on TV will be like a condensed version of what we saw in that trailer. Basically, that's what you're really going to get. You're going to get a more condensed version.
So we're not getting any more gameplay?
No, because technically you are seeing gameplay in that trailer. Let's be honest, that is in game. That is no bullshit cinematics bits and bobs. Because again, Naughty Dog have fizzled that shit out.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean like maybe running through, shooting shit. You know.
No, they don't need to, man. They don't need to do any of that. Because again, like it feels like to me with Naughty Dog, they wanted to keep that shit as tight knit as possible. So that when you do play that game, which again is a big factor of the game, by the way, the whole gameplay elements of crafting, how you're going to be going through these aspects of encounters, that's a big factor of the game where it has a massive enjoyment. And again, people are wanting to spoil it to the extent for others where, listen, don't play it because we've heard about leaks and this and that out of context, and we're like, you know what? You don't have to play it. You're all right, mate, no problem. It's like I said earlier on, bro. Took them roughly around 4 years within full production, 6 years if you're including mocap and actual, script writing. But again, if you think that again, a handful of leaks are going to tarnish a game that took theoretically 6 years to make, you're fucking wrong. And people try to do this numerous times to games, and it has failed every fucking time. Simple as. Anyway, let's go on to the next subject because
we're not going to go. Look, this game will be very controversial. Neil Druckmann says it's going to be controversial.
Yeah.
And I can tell that it's going to be controversial because everything about it will trigger
someone.
5 minority groups that are very active on social media. So Twitter will be a firestorm when this comes out.
The thing is about controversy is that
it was a firestorm when the leaks came out.
Listen,
controversy sells shit. Let's be honest.
Listen, the important thing about it is that all of these 5 groups basically don't buy games.
Exactly.
And lock themselves with the types of people who buy games. Okay, so it doesn't really impact sales if they go, I will not buy this game because it's got people shooting dogs in it. Right, the PETA people won't want to buy it. Right, for one thing. Okay, so. And then you've got the religious Christian fundamentalists. They won't want to go near it. But how often do they play games, or how often do they get upset about things? All the time. So they're often boycotting games. You don't worry about them either. You've got homophobes. Don't need to worry about pleasing them. You've got transphobes, and you've got the transgender community.
Yeah, but the thing is, the transgender community, the homosexual community, they could just go out and buy this game to support that.
Yeah, the lesbian community might buy the game in large numbers, but the transgender persons, will probably have a real problem with it.
You know what this makes me remember. You know what this kind of makes me reminds me of. It reminds me of Dave Chappelle's recent fucking stand-up called Sticks and Balls.
I love that shit.
Transgender, lesbian, gays, and they're all in the same fucking car.
I love that shit.
That's how I look at this. It may be a fucked up way of thinking about it, but it's true. Like there are certain groups in which they do get on, and some of them fucking don't. At the end of the day, you're gonna butt heads regardless with anybody, and when it comes to this game, or again somebody's creativity, you're gonna butt heads with someone regardless. And like I said, when it comes down to controversy, that sells shit. Doesn't matter, it sells, and people can bitch about it whatever they want. But at the end of the day, people buy into this stuff. They watch these things or listen to these things. It's like, when this game comes out, right, I would not be fucking shocked if this uproar, whatever you want to call it, lasts, a couple of weeks before it's like, yeah, all right, we've had our event, we're done. No, that's it. Simple as. Video games. Like, it's not anything new. Like with Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, when you're shooting up the airport, the controversy in that, how long did that last for? A couple of weeks, done. Modern Warfare last year, the aspect of was it like missions like called Highway to Hell, whatever. It's depicting Russians in a bad way and then putting Americans in a good state. Like they picked
conflict, wasn't it? That they were upset about.
Mm-hmm.
They were representing something.
Yeah, this is what I mean, man. Like, you step on people's toes regardless, man, when it comes to, like, that sort of... I mean, video games, I feel like people, like, kind of have a bit more stick towards instead of, like, films and TV shows because you're playing it, and people think... It's sense of video games are supposed to be fun, right? And if you put those things in video games, they think that they're putting the sense of a fun aspect. No. Not in any sense, shape, or form. Like, Last of Us is not supposed to be, like, that quote-unquote ability of fun. Like, obviously, there is a sense of it, right, where you're enjoying this thing, right, and you're liking it. But it's not a sense where you're, like, big smile on yourself and you're fucking stabbing a lesbian or I don't know, whatever it is. Like, no, you're going to feel for whatever is happening within these games. Like, it isn't, you're not fucking mental. Sort of thing, man. It's what it is. I mean, what was it? Yeah, but I mean, this conversation, like, for me, I'm looking forward to that game. I'm excited, and after that, Ghost Tumour's coming out. Looking forward to that game as well, and whatever, and Cyberpunk, I look forward to that as well. I don't care about the externals or what they all entail. Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to buy these things. I want to experience these things, where it may be. Simple as. Yeah. Anyway,
I think again, you're not gonna want to miss this experience if you are whatever type of religious group, whatever we were just talking about. If you're a gamer at the end of the day, which you could be, I'm Christian, but I'm a gamer. I've been gaming since the age of 8. And it doesn't really matter what this game is to me. I'm a person that's drawn to stories. I've watched and listened to all different types of stories.
Established that you with Ellie being gay,
huh?
So you because you've already established you don't have a problem with Ellie being gay.
No, I mean she could be fucking straight. Okay, I thought of a story in my head, right, when you guys were talking. Okay, she's hardened, right?
I have a problem with homosexuality, and it's not so by the Bible that you were like saying they should go to hell, and I don't care what happens to them. Yeah, and the people in the game called the Seraphs are like that. They're absolutely death to all gays.
Yeah, okay? But why would you be upset if that's...
So you won't feel that you're identifying with them and what happens to them in the game?
No, because I'm not that type. There are different types of Christians, just like there's different types of people that are gay. Like, there are some people that want everybody to know that they're gay, and then there's some people that keep that shit hidden. It's the same thing with Christians. There's a lot of people that are like
they're all one of the factions is the Washington Liberation Front, which is theoretically the sense where if you don't live within the confines of Washington, within the game, basically, this militant group, basically, where if you don't live in that state or whatever it may have been, basically you'll be put in a prison or killed on site, and which you saw gameplay of in the pre event last year in September, which was later on in the game. Like, and they have, and again, this isn't the sense of they're religious of that. They just, again, they are a group that have beliefs in the sense where you can't be a part of our group if you don't meet these certain circumstances, which kind of reminds me of like Walking Dead in a sense, in certain degrees, where like they've done that. But yeah, anyway.
Well, look, it's true. Look, it's true. A lot of people might be affected by it, but like Troy Baker said, at the end of the day, it's a video game. You gotta have to play it. You might have some feelings about some of the stuff, but that's the same thing as any movie or TV show. I cannot tell you that there hasn't been a movie or a TV show that hasn't rubbed me the wrong way by some of the messaging they might have put in it. I didn't like the way that they threw certain things at me at Supergirl, you know, at all. Like, majority of the shit in Supergirl rubbed me the wrong way. It's not that they showed off, you know, her sister being a lesbian or anything, but it felt very forced. And the fact that that's not actually Supergirl. That's not the story of Supergirl. I've read multiple comics based on her. That's not the Supergirl from the comic books. So they completely changed that character to fit a message that they wanted to throw at. And as you know, tons of people did not like the Supergirl television show, even when it switched over to CW. People actually hated it even more. So it's all about who's telling the story, bro. You might have some elements in Last of Us, but the way that Neil Druckmann tells the story might make it acceptable. However, when you get the spoilers that something is in there that you didn't like anyway, of course you're going to sit up there and say, hey, I don't like the whole game, but you can't really say that because you didn't play the game yet. So again, a lot of the outrage is from individuals, like you said, that don't even play video games, and they're hoping that they could sway the people that do play video games into not supporting this.
Yes, I can see that there will be an agenda.
Yeah. And what I love about it, they're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid to push this agenda. It's like you're doing it on your own behalf, 100% for free. No one's paying you.
Well, look, there's another thing I can address which is completely separate from the game and doesn't involve spoiling it because this happened before The Last of Us, the first part, even came out. All right? And this is to disentangle and disassociate Anita Sarkeesian from having influence over the whole thing, because this is the whole conspiracy theory that people are pushing on the side of the haters, is they're saying, I won't buy Anita Sarkeesian's involved. The whole Gamergate crowd's cooked up about all of this, and that's why I took an interest in it, because I thought, I'm not getting the game, I never played the first one, never played the DLC, I wasn't going to be getting this anyway, even before there was any controversy surrounding it. So I just thought, well, I'm not interested. And then they cooked up this huge controversy about it with the spoilers and the leaks. And I thought, well, I might as well just see what they are, because I'm not getting it anyway, so I can't spoil myself. And then I did some digging, and I found out that what it was is it was a Gamergate crowd starting up again to be able to draw Anita Sarkeesian's name through the mud again. Okay, now, she got a Kickstarter together years ago, and she was saying, give me some money to make some videos about feminism in relation to video games. And people came forward, women came forward and donated. She didn't ask for very much money, and they donated to her to such a degree that she was like rolling in cash. And this made a lot of people who were also video creators and, you know, wannabe journalists and things like that, very angry and jealous of the fact that she'd done so well, because she'd made such a lot of money out of this Kickstarter. There was obviously a lot more female gamers who wanted to see her video content than even she bargained for. And frankly, all she had to do was make the videos, and she's golden, really. I mean, she can spend the rest of the money on cocaine, as far as I'm concerned, right? If people have overpaid her. It's just the same as Star Citizen, you know? you keep pledging money to Star Citizen, it's up to Chris what he does with it. So she goes off and she makes the videos, all of the videos that she was asked to make, right? And she has money left over, which she then goes off and does other things with. But the videos that she made were all about damsels in distress and, you know, like Princess Peach and how Mario rescues her and then other things. And then there was a whole other set of videos that she did on other topics. And in the first video she did, she made out that you can be critical of games, you can enjoy games, but still be critical of elements within them. So basically she's saying you can play, you know, Dead or Alive beach volleyball and enjoy beach volleyball, but also think that they're representing women in an overly sexualized manner. But hold those two ideas together in your mind separate from one another. Still enjoy the game, but also say it's a bit puerile, isn't it? The fact that they're just kind of glorifying these women in this game, right? And make a feminist critique of a video game that made basically for men, young men. So I thought, yeah, fair enough, okay. And she does game reviews as well, and her game reviews are actually quite good. They're better than Kotaku game reviews. So, you know, they're okay. So then you think, okay, where's the relationship to Neil Druckmann? So we've established Anita Sarkeesian, we know who she is. How does it relate to Neil Druckmann? Well, Neil Druckmann had an idea for a game called Mankind. And in this game, he wanted to have it so that there was like a fungus that would take over and kill off, well, it would convert all the women, and only the women, into kind of these lumbering fungal monster things. And then he went and saw the videos that were being put out by Anita Sarkeesian, and it kind of changed his whole perception of media. And he was thinking, oh, I think my game that I'm working on might be misogynist because I've made it so that only the women are the ones affected by this cordyceps thing. Mm-hmm. And so he changed it so that it was both men and women that would get affected by the cordyceps. And then the game became The Last of Us Part 1. Now, you can't say that Anita Sarkeesian had a negative effect on The Last of Us Part 1. In fact, The Last of Us Part 1 might be better because he saw what she did.
Yeah, of course.
There's no evidence that she was there coming round to Naughty Dog and telling him, right, put a lesbian in it, put a transgender person in it, have this happen, right?
Yeah.
It's just simply that he saw something she did, and as a creator of his own game that he has complete volition to make how he wants, he chose to make it a slightly different way that he thought would be less misogynistic. And we've already played that game, and we're happy with that one. So I think that the Anita Sarkeesian narrative that's being pushed by this Gamergate crowd, who failed twice at trying to push their issue of saying female developers shouldn't even be in the industry. We don't want to have games that are made for women. It should be a boys' club. They should just fuck off and go silent again. They're embarrassing themselves. Yeah, I finished.
Well, look, it's definitely going to happen, and I can't wait to see people's face when the game scores well, or this game sells well, and everybody is still enjoying and playing the game. We got 39 days. It's obviously going to happen. Can't wait. That's a history lesson I had no clue about. I heard that she talked to Neil Druckmann, but I didn't know that's who she was. Good history lesson. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I'm sorry it was so long, but there's just such a lot to dig into. I mean, you know about Gamergate.
So they don't like anybody associated with her.
You know about how
basically
it started and they went after her and they thought she was a terrible figure and she was gonna ban all sexy women in video games, which is something she never said. Never ever said that. She's perfectly fine with those games existing. All that she's ever said was she'd like there to be a few more games made that had a positive representation of women, that weren't disempowered, that weren't damsels in distress, and representation for gays and lesbians and transgendered people, right? And you're thinking, well, they are in society, so maybe they should be in games as well, But I mean, not like a full game that's only about them. That would be a bit disproportionate, wouldn't it? But I mean, it's up to creators what they do. And you do tend to see it a bit more now. You know, I've noticed that there's more games about those minority people, and they tend to be indie games more than they are, you know, big budget AAA games. I think this Last of Us 2 game is the first one that is doing it, and is kind of taking up the recommendations of her to, you know, have, you know, women that can defend themselves, that don't need to be rescued all the time, and are completely useless in a fight. And that's Ellie, you know. And there's like, they're gay, but it's not like it's in your face the entire game that they're gay. It's like, well, when they have a romantic relationship in one of the kind of less actiony scenes, it's with a girl rather than a guy. I mean, like, yeah, sure, it's a cutscene, probably be like 2 minutes out of a 25-hour game.
Well, look, all I'm gonna say, and I think I've said this before. Whether this is an experiment or what Neil Druckmann wanted to do, this is the sequel and the last game in the series, and all I can say is that next time probably not do this. You know, because obviously people were going.
Bill in the first game, from what I've read, was gay.
Yeah, he was gay.
So I mean,
no one, but not the thing was with that was sense where it was depending on whether people listened to the dialogue that was happening, but then also there's a letter that you pick up which you can read, then you give to Bill, and then he actually has some remarks about it, which adds on to that. Yeah. And again, like people glanced over that because again, it was that sense. It was like
it was subtle.
It was subtle, very subtle. But that's the thing about their writing within Naughty Dog, right? You know, Neil has these sort of ways of doing subtle aspects within certain scenes, whether it's trying to entail based on emotion. That's what happens. But you know, like I was going to mention, what Joe was mentioning with after this game was that maybe don't do this again. Like, I think, you know, yeah. I in some retrospect I agree maybe, but then also it's a sense where not completely like I mean dial it back maybe, but like my point of views on this are I mentioned this to Jay and I mentioned it from some other people and they're like really, and it was the extent of I opened up a few people's eyes. If believe it or not. Whether people don't want to hear this or not, but Naughty Dog are right now on the cusp of going down the route that Santa Monica did in 2014. In this case, foreclosing. They are. Meaning no more Naughty Dog because of what's going on within that studio, but then also other aspects. Whether you want to believe it or not, they are on the cusp of that notion of being no more. And this isn't the first time with Naughty Dog. This same thing happened in 2008 or no 6, I think it was. I forgot now. When they were making Uncharted 1, where they were losing more people than they were fucking hiring, and they were failing to get to grips with the architecture as well as adapting from a more realistic game or more humanoid game than Jak and Daxter. And they've been on this massive fucking tear of games. They theoretically haven't had nearly as much time off as what other devs really would do. And it's bad. It's not good right now. And here's the thing, when that news broke that Horizon Zero Dawn was coming to PC and shit like that, and people were sending threats to Herman, to Jim Ryan and Shuhei, the thing that pissed me off about that, right, was the sense that no one actually theoretically knew why Herman got hired for that role, why Shuhei backed off of his previous role to take up the role he's got now. And again, to the extent where Jim Ryan, and here's how it goes, right? Jim Ryan, people that hate Jim Ryan, the guy's a suit. He's not supposed to be in front of, the fans of PlayStation. He's a suit. He's a business guy. He should be in the fucking board meetings. That's what he's about. He should not be at the forefront, right? And to be honest, in my personal opinion, the guy should theoretically go and fuck himself. He should go. Like, he's apparently a nice guy, but then also he's the sort of guy that talks behind your back. That's a bit of a dick. He's a dick. Basically a dick, right? When it comes to Sean Layden leaving, that's a big loss for PlayStation. Wherever you want to fucking shape it, it was a big fucking loss for PlayStation. I still don't know why or what happened, but there's no animosity between PlayStation and him because he is in a good note with them. When it comes to Shu, the guy stepped down from his original position because of his wife having cancer, but then also he wanted to take up the aspects of partnerships and indie games in which he's better at. In this case, right now, he's also working with Remedy on a partnership for their next coming game, even though Epic Games got given a shit ton of money from Epic. Doesn't necessarily mean that they have to avoid working with others. That's that. When it comes to Herman, though, the reason why Herman got hired for to become the new head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, right, was a sense of the environment in which he captivated within Guerrilla Games. Ergo, they had zero crunch. Their atmosphere within Guerrilla was impeccable. They didn't have the strenuation of their games nearly as much as what other people do, and that's bonkers compared to what they recently have just made with Rise Zero Dawn and going on to make with Rise Zero Dawn 2 or some other things, right? The reason why, and on top of that, the reason why he got given that role was to do with that culture. He had got given that role to bring in the atmosphere of giving the Sony studios, right, the ability to not have to crunch, the ability to sort out certain attributes. In this case, right now, Naughty Dog are sitting, I think, Naughty Dog right now within employment are sitting roughly around 250 to 300 people, right? And this kind of differentiates because of the aspects of contractors coming into Last of Us Part 2. Now, with contractors within video games, right, they have to bring these guys in for interviews, then hire them, then teach them or get them up to standards to then theoretically put them onto what they need to be doing. In this case, could be a 50-50 chance of fucking up your games, right? And the good note was they were very good people that they brought onto the project and also got paid in full. It wasn't said that they didn't get paid. They got paid in full, and also they got given jobs, in which we found out last week. But going back to the aspects of hires, they are roughly sent out around 250 to 300. I don't know what the number of theoretically is, but looking at Guerrilla Games, they're looking to be a 500 person or 550 person studio, with the aspects of them getting a brand new studio recently. Now, you stack that up to Naughty Dog, right? It's understandable as to why Naughty Dog's culture right now is not doing as well as what it previously was, because of how they were back in the day. It's also the case where they haven't got a new studio since back in 2010. Not to say that they have to get a new studio to make their culture better, but they theoretically do need to get the sense of Herman, the sort of guy coming in, sitting Naughty Dog down, understanding the faults in which are in that studio, giving them the break, but also restructuring it to the extent where they have more people working on their games and they don't have to go for this aspect where they get called out for crunch or any shit like that, because that's what's being brought into the equation with these leaks as well. Which, again, people bring up the aspects of crunch is good for video games. Yes, because crunch can provide a sense of quality. Which is true. It is definitely true. And, CD Projekt Red are at fault for this as well. And in a sense, they have quality games as well as Rockstar Games, which have recently sorted out their crunch because of, presumably, Dan Houser, he's left. But I don't think that's the main reason. I think it's to do with the aspects of, again, they've actually sorted their stuff out, which is good. But, like I'm saying with Herman is such a great addition to the PlayStation, being the new head. Because he's definitely going to fix those problems. And also, he's going to bring these new additions in the sense where, the Dishonored engine, right? The Dishonored engine was only used for them, but then Kojima bounced on that. And now it's being rumored, from what I've heard from people that I know within the industry, have told me that Ben's studio are being groomed to use the Dishonored engine, which seems about right. Because they were looking to use the Dishonored engine for Days Gone. But because they didn't want to learn, they didn't want to use years to learn that engine to then bring out that game. Like they knew about the Unreal Engine more they learned about the Unreal Engine more frequently than what they did with that. So they wanted to bring the game out quicker, and they wanted to, get their sort of spotlight moment, and they did, and it was a great game. Everyone liked, a lot of people did like Days Gone, but now with them having the time, there's this engines in their lap, and like, yo, let's learn this, let's get around this, let's help Guerrilla Games better that engine as well as Kojima if he continues to use that engine, and that's the beauty of it with Herman. So and again, when that news was flying around, people were like giving Herman death threats and putting him underneath this fucking fire that he didn't need to. I'm sorry, people, but that was a fucked up move from people. It really was. I mean, I agree with people on the Jim Ryan thing, but then again, like, he's a suit. He shouldn't be in the front lines. I think PlayStation, they need to right now.
So let me ask you a question.
You were
Who the fuck is gonna be in the front lines? Because
well, that's what I mean. Like, PlayStation are theoretically looking at that right now, Jay. They are looking.
So it won't be Herman.
I think it will be Herman for the time being, but again,
I'm just saying, bro. It can't be because he doesn't ever come out and say shit, bro.
No, well, no, he has come out and said shit, Jay, and he has got a good stage presence. He has good English. I mean, not
I have not saw him on stage since he got his new position.
Again, well, obviously not, but again, with Herman, he's got a good stage presence in the point of time.
This is the thing I want from Herman, right? Instead of giving interviews where we can't see your facial expressions about where you plan on putting your games in the future, I would definitely love for him to do something similar to what Phil Spencer did the last time we saw him on camera.
Yeah.
Get on camera, give us a little update on what's going down. I don't see that ever happening, but I do think he needs to talk to the people that, let me just say, still has a little bit of faith in him. Me personally, I have zero faith in Herman.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your chat. There's a guy called Still talking to the extent of, I just want to address a few things here. With Kaz Harai and Jack Trenton, right? The sense of what I'm trying to say within this is a case of, you look at Jim Ryan's Jack Trenton. Jack Trenton actually had a sense of characteristics in the point where he actually thrives with the audience, right? But needless to say, right, Jack Trenton came on to how do I put this? Jack Trenton, before Jack Trenton, you had Kaz Harai, right, within the PlayStation 3, again, going into the PlayStation 3. When he was on stage, Kaz was a cool character, but the thing was, no one really looked at him in a sense where, if you were to deliver a console, right, or to deliver a messaging in the sense where it was a face that you liked, and it was a point where, you could be like, I like this guy. He wasn't that person. He was the guy that went, hey, this is the console. This is the price of the console. Listen, enjoy. Whereas when you look at Jack Trenton within the halfway point of the PS3 going to the PS4, that guy's presence, right, people loved. The guy had a smile on him. He had a bit of characteristics. He had a bit of pizzazz. He had the aspects of, when you saw him, he wasn't afraid to laugh at things and have a bit of fun. Whereas Kaz wasn't that person. Jim Ryan wasn't that person. Those people you would see at CES. You'll see at tech shows where they'll be talking about the next thing from Sony. Whereas you would not see them every time at a PlayStation. You just wouldn't. So that's what I'm trying to say. Again, they were theoretically suits. Yeah, they were. They were in suits. But the thing is, just because they're wearing suits, I mean, well, that's the other thing. I mean, again, I'm not talking in the sense where, because these guys wearing suits is what I'm trying to contradict or mention. I'm talking in the sense where, when I'm quote unquote saying suits, I'm talking about stocks, business, all that shit, things that you don't want to hear in a video game conference. That's what I'm talking about when I mean suits. I'm talking about people like Phil Spencer, Sean Layden, Adam Boyd, Shuhei. They all wear suits, but the thing was, they had character to themselves. So, example, when you saw Shu, Adam Boyd, Jack Trenton, or even Andrew House to an extent, you liked them because you saw them, you knew them as people, and that's what was so good about them. I loved them. They were great guys. And I mentioned with Sean earlier on, he was a massive loss. He was a big loss. Like I think, you know, I mean, he was worked at PlayStation for years upon years, but he was that guy that I would like to have seen. I mean, hell, I mean, I don't know if people remember him, but Kevin Butler, he was that guy that was, you know, he didn't give a shit. He would make comedic values to other consoles. He did those adverts with that black actor, the black actor kid from Role Models, doing the PSP commercials and shit like that.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
cool.
I know him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that was great, but then there was this thing about Nintendo and Keystone, and it got a bit blurry, and it was like, nah, fuck that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, bro, but, like, having characters doesn't stop them from being suits. Well, obviously, no, of course not. That's why I mentioned fucking Jack Trenton. I've mentioned Boys, Shu, Sean. Like, they all wore suits. Again, like I'm saying, like, suits to me, a lot of people have different interpretations to the word suits within business. And then for me and other people that I know, suits to people are people that go ahead and they talk about numbers, they talk about stocks and this and that, and they talk about.
If you don't mind, I think we've drifted slightly off topic of Naughty Dog. You were saying something about how you thought Naughty Dog would foreclose, and then you so the structure of Sony, and it's very interesting. You know an awful lot about it, and it might have relevance to why you think that Naughty Dog would foreclose, but you didn't actually say why Naughty Dog would foreclose, in your opinion.
My opinion, again, I mentioned it earlier on. My opinion was the sense of going back to when they were sort of transitioning from Jack and Dexter to Uncharted, right? It was to the extent of them having to evolve from, like, obviously what they were known to make, which was Crash Bandicoot and Jack and Dexter, right? And then you look at Uncharted and Last of Us, right? Two completely separate games, right? The way they look, basically. And in the case where they were struggling with the architecture as well, the sale process, and they weren't the only ones, but people gained knowledge quicker than others, right? And when it came down to that, they got to the point of hiring people and then losing people quicker than they were hiring. And again, that lasted fuck knows how many months before shit started to click within the idea of Uncharted, right? They brought that game out eventually, and then the thing that made them go on to Uncharted 2 was the sense of them getting nominated at the Video Game Awards at that year, in which they went back to the office, made Uncharted 2, and then won Game of the Year. And then from that point onwards, that was when Naughty Dog started to accumulate their persona of... Or not persona, but the sense where if you saw the Naughty Dog symbol, right, you knew that that game was going to be quality because of what that fucking thing was. It's like Rockstar again. When you saw Rockstar's logo, you knew what that game was, or you knew what they were about. And my reasoning for the foreclosing aspect, right, is the extent of my thoughts, right, is their way of making games, right, which other people have faults for, with like them, is becoming a thing of the past, where they need to reinvent themselves in the extent of not tarnishing what they've been doing right now in the sense of quality games, but more in the sense of, like I said, revamp, evolving from their prior mistakes. And like I'm saying, Herman coming in, sitting them down, giving them the break that they need, but also figuring out and configuring, bringing more people on, and if they do need to give them a new studio, doing that, because...
Okay, look, I think I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, because here's the thing as well, uncompetitive, right?
And his success at Guerrilla Games, where they had Zero Punch, now that he's in control of software development at Sony, he can then say, we want to have this in all our studios, so all of our developers are happy, and we have good job retention of our senior staff, and they don't all burn out and leave.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the Naughty Dog thing, right? Is that overall...
that they're about to go bust, is it? That's
Well,
saying
no. So basically, with the Naughty Dog thing, right? The thing is with Naughty Dog,
business. That's not saying that they're going to go out of business because they are.
No. So basically, right, Uncle if you were to ask me, right, Naughty Dog will go, right? They will go bust and shit like that. I will simply say no, they won't because PlayStation won't fucking do that. Because
you said Naughty Dog was about to foreclose.
They what? Well, again, if they go down or they continue down the path they are right now, yes, they can. Because don't forget, right, the same thing that's happened. Well, theoretically, the thing that's happened with them is kind of has similarities to what Santa Monica had. Exact same thing in 2014, where they were losing people like Stigma and all these other like Pappy. They were all leaving because they saw shit changing, right? They cancelled that new IP. Shit was going down the wrong way. They got a brand new studio. I'm like, wait, we spent this money on a brand new studio, but then we're losing people in the extent of, is this the end of like Santa Monica? And I was like, no, it wasn't, because PlayStation weren't going to do that. Again, they put money in this brand new studio. They were gearing up for Santa Monica to sort of do what Guerrilla Games were doing with Horizon, and then what Naughty Dog were doing with Last of Us. When that game was coming out. In this sense, again, evolving the studios. So like, no, we're gonna bring in certain people, right? Get that shit under control, and again, bring in Corey, and they did that. And look what happened. Complete turnaround, and that is in commemoration to Shannon Starstill, Yumi Yang, Shuhei, obviously being part of the management, as well as Scott, and all the other people that were within the management of PlayStation. They were doing a good job for that. They were doing a very good job.
All right. Are you saying that if they don't change their ways, we won't see any games from them that are equivalent to The Last of Us ever again? Because they'll lose all their quality staff, and the best we can expect is like another Jak and Daxter game.
I mean, we kind of The thing is about this is that I'm a bit 50 on that.
Jason Schreier did that. He said that a lot of people left that were senior developers, the ones that train all the contractors. Yes. They all left after The Lost Legacy because they just couldn't take the hours.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's like I said earlier on with the Last of Us, Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. Then they split into two groups to then make 3 and was it Last of Us, right? Then within Last of Us being made, right, they then accumulate back on together as one. Then they made Left Behind, but this was a sense of they split it back off to make Uncharted 4 as well as Left Behind. Then when that came out, they went back into fucking Uncharted 4. And then, after Uncharted 4, they fucking split back up for Last of Us Lost Legacy, as well as fucking Uncharted Lost Legacy, to then Part 2. Think about how fucking weird that... Think about just like how chaotic that must have been for them. Think about that. And this is only 300 people.
Mismanaged because they're running too many projects in parallel.
Dude, they are majorly listen, bro, this isn't the only studio, right? I talked about this yesterday with Jay on Platinum Games, right? They were working on Bayonetta 3, right? But then they're talking about all these different projects because they've been funded money. And it's like, wait, hold on. Where's Bayonetta 3? No, don't talk about this other extensive project. Where's Bayonetta? Should we work on that first? And it's like, oh, well, but we got something else. And again, like with me saying Platinum, same thing with Square Enix. Square Enix were in that same predicament with Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy Online, and the remake. Where the people that were originally working on the remake of Final Fantasy were fucking up majorly. And then eventually, the main people went on to the people that were working on Final Fantasy, I forgot what the number was. They went on to make Final Fantasy VII, and look how it came out. Perfect, good. It was what they wanted to do. So when it comes going back to Naughty Dog, right? with them foreclosing and the extent of like them losing staff, right? You've lost Bruce Straley. You've lost other people within the confines of that. You've still got some big names still. You know, you've got people still there, obviously. But, you know, you don't want to lose any more people because at that point, right, you know, if you do that, right, like, for instance, if Neil Druckmann left, right, if Evan Wells left, and if Anthony Newman and Kurt and all these other people left, right, and then, again, theoretically, Naughty Dog had to hire new people to take placements of those roles, right, I will not be afraid to say that you'll be getting a completely different Naughty Dog than what you've been getting this generation and generations before. Or PS3 and PS4, shall I say. Because those were the people that theoretically, right, made some of these games, you know, made what Naughty Dog, you know, built what Naughty Dog, you know, built them up to what they are right now. Right? You, basically what I'm trying to say is, you want to build up those people, those new talent, the people that are going to take over what you've built, right? You want to build them up. You want to mold them to the extent where when they get to be given that role, you're happy. And you're like, I can leave knowing that those people are going to carry on the name of Naughty Dog. It's like the founders of Naughty Dog, right? They gave those jobs to Evan Wells and Christoph for a reason. Because they knew they knew that they knew about the culture of Naughty Dog. And like, you know what? I feel good about these guys. And I can leave it in their hands. That's what you want. You don't want to fucking go off without a hitch and be like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, that's not, again, like, that would be the bad format. But like, going back, again, to the foreclosing aspect of Naughty Dog, I'm not saying they will, because the thing is, PlayStation won't allow it, because if Naughty Dog want money from PlayStation will gladly go deep in their pockets, and give them the money. Because they know Naughty Dog, right? What they can do with it, right? And they've done that.
There's more to the studio than money.
Yeah, well, no, of course, no, I understand. But what I'm trying to say is,
if you have a bad working environment and
yes,
reputation spreads of you being like a toxic place to work, then people won't want to work there. You won't be able to recruit the best staff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Naughty Dog might be the preeminent software developer for video games.
Yeah.
If people just say, I know someone who worked there, they said, don't work there. It's hell.
Yeah.
Okay? So, you know, it could be that the people who are like senior and might just be retiring, okay, because they've you know, they want to move on with their lives and do less hours, and they would naturally be leaving anyway.
Yeah.
They can't replace them with anyone of any quality from another studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas in the past, before they got this reputation for crunch, they could have recruited them really easily because everyone wanted to work there. So I mean, you look at that spreadsheet that got done by some expert, and it was like saying, look at all the people who have gone from Naughty Dog to, you know.
Yes, yeah, I know, and and Santa Monica, and all, yeah, again.
Evidence of wastage. Now, they're probably not good people, probably like low-level people, but the
people I know.
Being Naughty Dog to work for the initiative tells you volumes, doesn't it? Because it's kind of like, well,
it does.
It doesn't have a crunch.
Just
get away from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing, right? I mean, and again, see, this is the thing about like theoretical people on Twitter, right? I tend to stay fucking as clear away from Twitter as possible. Reason why, right? There's a lot of people that like to hype up certain things. For instance, Last of Us, right? Yeah. And listen, I am looking forward to Last of Us. I am a big fan of Last of Us. I cannot wait to play that game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm fucking blinded by the look of that game and stuff, and again, just the game in general. I'm not blinded by that factor of looking at Naughty Dog and thinking to myself, there's still fucking cracks in that goddamn studio, and wherever you want to side note or whatever it is. Listen, I'm sorry to say this, but Naughty Dog are not a perfect studio, and after last week's Sunday show, this is the thing. After last week's Sunday show, I was with Jay and Sam. I was like, "Hey guys, I've got a party chat. I'm going into this party chat." And I spoke to 2 DICE members, right, that are working on Battlefield 6. I spoke to them extensively about next-gen consoles. I spoke to my mate Jody, who worked for PlayStation, who worked for Rare, who worked for... I forgot their guy to do his name. But he now works... Right now, he works for an external third-party studio that basically supports others, right? So if they need help, they bring these guys on to kind of segregate or again help them out. And then there was an indie guy that was in there, which I spoke to about just in general what he's working on, because I'm interested in indie games. And we spoke about the leaks in Last of Us. We spoke about the culture of Last of Us, right? And this is information coming from these guys, and these guys actually know people from Naughty Dog, and they have contacts with them. And again, I'm talking to devs that know devs within that studio, which I'm getting my information off of. And I'm like, I hope they sort it out. And they're like, I do too. Because Naughty Dog are a very good studio. And unlike Irrational, and one of them brought this up, and unlike how Irrational ended up, I don't want Naughty Dog to end up the same way. Because Irrational Games were a fucking great studio. And I had the privilege of meeting Ken Levine. Amazing guy. Loved his work, loved what he did, loved what it was about. But guess what happened with Irrational? It went. It's gone. But the thing is, you can't duplicate that fucking studio anymore. You just can't. And when you look at Naughty Dog, right, whether you like it or not, they can theoretically be in the same fucking boat. They're not untouchable. They're not. I'm sorry to bust people's bubbles. They're not untouchable. That can happen to them. But with PlayStation, they'll try to fix certain things, right? Or they will try to help that notion, right? And they will. And this is the thing where I'm a bit positive about this, where I don't think it's going to happen because of Herman, because of the management team, because of the aspects where PlayStation understand what Naughty Dog bring to PlayStation. Or again, the values of what they bring, which is the games, right? And, the fan base of, people that love Naughty Dog games, right? They don't want to get rid of them because there's, like I'm saying, there's a massive fan base for them.
Look, we gotta go because you guys both talk to the same wall for 8 hours.
Yeah.
The thing is,
again, I'm seeing your comment section, right? War Penguin and Thingy, Still. You got again, whether you believe me or not, or whether you don't.
Oh, I believe you, but the thing is, bro, if Sony announces that they're getting rid of Naughty Dog or they're closing down, that will be a huge blow to anybody that looks forward to buying their system.
Just to summarize this shit, and this is my question to anybody in the chat and just in the panel in general: if theoretically speaking they did go, how would you feel?
I wouldn't feel good, bro.
I
like Naughty Dog games, and I know their next game isn't Uncharted. I know their next game isn't Last of Us. So obviously they're going to have some time off, similar to Sony Santa Monica. If you remember the gap between Ascension and God of War 2018, it was a huge fucking gap.
Well, they were making a new IP, Jay. That's the thing. They were making a new IP with Stigman before he left to then go on to fucking Respawn Studios.
What game was that?
Oh god, it was something 8. I forgot what it was. It was a sci-fi shooter or something. It's sci-fi related.
And they canceled it.
Yeah, they cancelled it. Yeah, man. They
were working on a game and they cancelled it.
Was that the steampunk first-person shooter?
It was something like that. Yeah,
I heard about that. Okay.
If you watch the first opening minutes of the Raising Kratos documentary, they speak about it and they show pictures of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, outside of what is actually was put out by Sony Santa Monica, it was Ascension, and then we got God of War 2018. So, We know
And
that
that's
Sony
the
Santa
reason.
Monica probably were having a lot of crunch problems too. I mean, have you saw what God of War 3 looked like when it first came out? We knew they were crunching. There's no way that they weren't crunching. So look, they need a break. They're gonna have a break. I don't think they need to get rid of them. Maybe they need to resituate what the studio stands for and shit. I agree with all that. Give them a break.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've pitched a few.
I do not support getting rid of them altogether.
Me and competitive, we pitched a few things, right? The people that have left, the people that the bigger people that have theoretically left. The sense of, like I mentioned, going from one game to another, splitting into 1 to 2 groups, in the extent where, again, how many people they actually have got in the studio, right? Every bit of information I've given, like your panel and stuff like that, it speaks fucking volume. And again, like I said, one of the things that I do, right, or I try to do as much as I fucking possibly can, is talk to devs, get into contact, network with them. In this case, right, in the time that we are living right now with Corona, I still try to find the ways. And in this sense, through my mate Jody, I speak to him, every month, so on, just general gaming, what he's playing, what I'm playing. Again, there's people that are within the industry that are normally in his party. I'm in there. I'm talking to them. And I asked them these questions. And one of the things was about Herman and Shu and about their positions. And they told me straight up, that's what's going on. It's like, awesome, great, thanks. And they know more shit than fucking people do on Twitter or fucking YouTube. So I'd rather believe them than fucking idiots on that. And I'm sorry if that is regarding to people that are in the chat or on Twitter. Again, like I'm saying, like, I'd rather believe them than those people. Just simple as. Plain fucking simple.
Yeah. Well, look, bro, I listened to the whole thing. It wasn't like I wasn't listening. It was, look, bro, I've heard this before. You talked a little bit about this before. I agree with it. They definitely want to change their image. But even if they change their image, it won't matter. That's the thing you need to understand. People are going to hate them now just because they're Naughty Dog. Hey, you put lesbians in a video game that I love. Hey, I hate you. Bro, they could put out a Mario-type game next, and people would still fucking hate them, bro. It is the way it is when it comes to hate. So, it's just like me, bro. People hate me, and they don't even know why they hate me sometimes. They just hate me because somebody else hates me. You know?
Yeah, we know that.
And we got that same shit going on with The Last of Us. People hate The Last of Us that don't even own a PlayStation, that never even played The Last of Us 1.
Again, it's an easy thing to do. It's like, fucking hell, man. Like, you talk about, like, you just think of any fucking sports team, right? There are people that just hate certain sports teams because they win all the time. They don't like it. And it's like, well, of course, because they're on top. No one, there's a point in time where people start to hate the people that are on top because it's what it is. It's understandable, yes, but at the same time, it's like, if that's your reason, a bit of a fucking stupid one, to be honest.
But look, bro, I think that I've felt it. I just went, I go on Instagram a lot. I go to the popular section. I go to the hashtags. I see that a lot of people looked at this new trailer, and I see a lot of people loved it. I see a lot of people understood what they were seeing in it with the younger Ellie. And there might be some flashbacks, or you might be able to play through some elements of the first game reimagined in this new engine, which I hope is very true. It's a 30-hour game. It's going to have a lot of twists and turns. I don't think the spoilers are going to ruin anything for anybody. You're talking about knowing something at the very, very end of the game, if it even is what it is. We talked about those theories, too. It could be like some fucking nightmare or something. Long story short, you're gonna want to play through this fucking game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, like, just social joins, man. Like, listen, I'm gonna say this right now. I'll say this to any fucking person in the fucking chat right now. Come back to me in a few years' time, and I guarantee you'll be saying to me what you said years ago. You're right to say, guaranteeing it, and I'll bet fucking money on it. By the way, because also just to top this all off, right? You know how they came out and said they're all hackers, right? Well, I've been told otherwise, that it actually was a disgruntled employee, and they're just covering it up. They actually are. I don't want to believe it. I still don't believe it. I think it's a hacker. But there is parts where I wouldn't be surprised if Sony were to cover up that news on Naughty Dog, because again, they've been in the news recently quite a fair bit with crunch. And to top that shit off with a disgruntled employee, that would not fucking bode well for that company. It fucking wouldn't. So yeah.
Well,
again,
me to just a normal gamer, and a lot of people that love this game and also had it spoiled and still gonna support the game and love the studio. The fact of the matter is, I don't think any company should be destroyed by somebody that did what they did. You know, at this point in time, once it gets closer to the game, once the hype grows, when the game is officially out and everybody's enjoying it and loving it, that employee, we're going to look at that motherfucker like, okay, fuck you, bro. You should have basically either shut your mouth or moved on like most other people. It's just like, you know, on the thing is, you know, like some employees, they're so mad at their boss, they might end up taking extreme action, go back and try to shoot up an office. I know we've had those incidents in the United States many times. It's a fucking no-no, obviously. So why would you be working for the studio and take those secrets and then, you know, leak them online? Again, people know who they are, so that person's going to jail. It's not. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. You
knew my view on this anyway, about like if it was a disgruntled employee, they're committing fucking career suicide. In that sense, they will never be able to make a fucking game.
Exactly. So at the end of the day,
that's why I don't think
was it worth it for your freedom and your career? Was it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, because it seems like the backlash only lasted but so long. When the new trailer came around, it seems like the backlash kind of subsided a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
And I think like I said just now, the closer we get to the game, the backlash will fucking disappear until it's gone. And then the only thing will be left is the people that wanted to play the game anyway, and they go play the game. And we're overwhelmed by how many people actually went out and supported it, compared to the fake outlash. The fake outlash, that made it seem like it was a bad game and nobody was gonna support it.
Well, again, my reasoning behind the sense where I think it was a hacker, right? The extent of this shit happened within Uncharted 3 and Last of Us, where somebody was actually able to create the same. I'm thinking it's the same backdoor as what they did this time, in which they basically got aspects of Last of Us, right? Or pre-builds or pre-renders of Last of Us, right? And it was just early concepts of the game, in which were leaked. And I remember seeing this years ago, where people were like looking at this. And I think it was codenamed what Uncompetitive said. I forgot what the name of it was, but you mentioned it. And yeah, exactly. There you go. Well, basically, it was codenamed that, and people got these things right through that same server, in which people looked at it and thought, "Oh, it's nothing big. It's probably just an idea they're conjuring up or tinkering around with." And then a few years later, it turns out that no, it was actually a fucking game. It was Last of Us, and it was completely different. Again, it looked way different from what it did then, but obviously there were similarities. And again, that's why I think it was a hacker, because again, is the extent of, you know, backdoors like that.
Is one thing I've heard is that what the leak showed off was from the beginning of last year, and that this game is coming out in the middle of this year, and it's been worked on even more, and things obviously changed even when it comes to the story. So,
well, yeah, I mean, the build that they used in September theoretically was nearly the full build. They had the full game there theoretically, but like obviously just not polished. There was obviously things missing in it, basically, but they had the full game, and they could have like shown off the whole game there and then, but they didn't, obviously, because you know they wanted to just preview the game. They don't want to fucking show the whole thing. But yeah, like that's what they did. Like, you know, but like I said, I think it was a hacker. I don't think it was a disgruntled employee. But you know, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. If it was a fucking disgruntled employee.
I don't care who it was. I just want to see them brought to justice at this point.
Yeah, of course.
I don't give a shit, period, man. We talk about this shit way too fucking much.
Well, again,
Fatal.
my reasoning behind it was,
You
again,
need to
my
eat
the only
8
time I brought this shit
peanut
sort of
butter
stuff
and
That's
up.
jelly
illegal.
sandwiches just for the fuck of it. But yeah, guys, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Everybody be safe. Have a good remainder of Sunday. It's a new week again. I don't have any predictions for this week, but we talked to Snow Bunny in the very beginning. There's a lot of shit coming out for Switch. There's probably some indie games I don't know that are gonna be dropped on the store this week. I don't know, but the month is empty. We're just waiting for June. I mean, that's just how I'm feeling. It doesn't seem like anything else is happening in the month of May.
I've got a prediction. I posted an image of what might be the PS5 in the board in news topics, and also
News
I tweeted
topics.
it.
Okay.
So it's very much like the controller.
Where is Adam's left foot? Does anybody know where that might be?
What were we talking about?
I posted a picture of Adam. If you guys want to see what Adam.
Yeah,
looks
I
like.
saw that, and I'm not fucking black, you penis.
Goddamn, you might be. We don't know.
So the design of this console, apparently it went up on a blog, and then
You know what's funny?
No, I know which one you're talking about. That shit was fucking fake as shit, by the way.
Yeah, I saw this a couple days ago.
They took it down, and people thought because they took it down it was real. But the thing is, the labeling on that console struck it out as a fucking fake immediately.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw this a while ago. Yeah, I saw this one. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I saw it.
There's no way this one's real. Looks nice though. It really does look nice, but nah.
It will be somewhat similar, or it might have some point of it again. But yeah, what's it called? The guy that you took this off of, this fucking moron. Listen, bro. If you see
Blue Velvet.
No, Blue Velvet. And again, I sent his tweet, this actual tweet to my man Jody that actually fucking is using the dev kit of the fucking PS5, right? He understands this shit more than this fucking dipshit does. And he even said, what the fuck is this guy on about? And I was like, that's what I'm thinking, bro. And he goes, first of all, that's not what the console looked like. That's fake as shit. Second of all, he don't know a fucking ounce of knowledge in the sense where, like, most people, I said, thank you. And he goes, where'd you get this from? I said, Twitter. And he goes, any person that's on Twitter, right? And he's seen people trying to commit to the sense where they know about computer fucking science or have a degree in it. They fucking don't. I've said this numerous times to people. Numerous fucking people on Twitter. They don't know jack shit. They've just popped their heads up learning this shit on the fucking fly. This guy personally pisses me off, and he bores my fucking blood, bro. He bores my blood to the fucking core. He's the most idiotic fucking person that you can ever fucking listen to. Sorry, he's a dick.
You gotta love the Xbox. They're the only people that can piss off Adam.
Honestly.
There you are.
I hate him.
You'll have to take that all back when it's real.
Yeah, we will. We will. But let me put it this way. There's so many concepts, right? One of these things are going to be close to the original.
Yeah.
That's how many concepts there are. But it shows how much people give a fuck about the PS5 that they're going through like all of these concepts because Sony hasn't talked. I don't think I saw a single Xbox Series X concept. I don't think so. Because, remember, they revealed it so early that nobody had time to make concepts. They showed it off in December. Nobody was even thinking about the next gen of Xbox then. So, we didn't get any concepts.
Not quite correct. They have made an Xbox Series S concept.
Yeah, they made that. I saw that. Well, one of them is like, it's just a Series X, but it's cut in half and it's white.
It can't be that short. It could be 2/3 the height, but it couldn't be half the height.
Like, it's like some of these sizes just don't even make sense. Needless to say that PlayStation, I've seen so many, like Jason, I've seen so many concepts. It's just like that one. Personally, I'm like, oh my god.
I like that one that I was showing off. Remember? Had 3 different colors, white, gray, and black. I like that one. That was sleek. You know the one, right? It kind of had that little bit of that V.
Yeah.
That one was
I mean,
pretty
when
nice.
it comes down to the whole white and black situation with their controller, I mean, obviously, the reasoning behind why they did that, and I don't know why it took me so long to fucking figure this shit out. It's because of it's because of the haptic feedback. They need a specific plastic to be able to give the players the right response. Otherwise, if they don't feel that response come through whatever plastic they're using, it's non-void. And that's why it's two-toned. The plastic at the bottom is basically different to the one which is, white? So, which is the top part of it. So the black part is the sense of it's a bit more thinner. So when I know you're playing like a racing game or whatever it is, you can actually feel the feedback coming through that instead of like a normal, like DualShock plastic where it's very you just don't experience it as much. Yeah. Yeah. But no, man, I that guy, that Blue Velvet, I've seen so many fucking tweets from that guy, and I think he was talking about RDNA2, and then when it got confirmed, I think that RDNA2 was coming to PlayStation, bro. Like, he still was on that fuck shit. I was trying to prove that he hasn't got RDNA2, and he got proven wrong every fucking time. Proven wrong every fucking time. Like, I don't know where the fuck this guy came from. Like, he came out of the blue.
He
randomly.
came from the caves of the Xbox. And, look, guys, we really gotta get the fuck out of here. We're gonna talk after we're off air, but, yeah, Xbox fans are weird. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be live streaming tomorrow. I think, got enough energy. I'm gonna try this boss battle on Final Fantasy. I'm gonna go stream it on Twitch. I will see you guys over there. Be safe. I don't have something might happen this week with gaming, but I have no clue what it could be. This month is drying up pretty quickly, so I have no clue what anything could be revealed at this point in time. I know Jeff Keighley talking about his shit, so they, I don't know, something's happening. But I'll keep you guys informed if anything goes down. See you later.
Have fun, guys.
Have fun.
Bye.